I was scared of dentists in the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. I like my friend turning green. You're the magician's assistant in their dreams. When they come unstuck, lady running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left arm. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat because you're gonna sing the words wrong. There's this movie that I think you'll like. This guy decides to quit his job and heads for New York City. This cowboy is running from himself, and she's been living on the higher shelf. When they come unstuck, lady running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left arm. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat because you're gonna sing the words wrong. Oh, I just gotta know if you're gonna stay. You just gotta know. 'Cause I can have it any other way. Well, I swear she's destined for the screen, the closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen.
Doodly doodly doo. Transitioning now. Hey everyone, how you doing? Let me put Kevin on, and welcome to the happy hour. Oh, that's music we didn't want to hear. I'm repurposing a winter's weekend frame. Anyway, Kevin, did you hear the exciting music before? The little bit of jazz before we came on air, or when we
No.
went? Oh,
no. I heard like a couple of beats of a drum or something.
Yes, that was it. Yes,
okay,
that's my weekend.
Well, it wasn't enough to distinguish it as jazz.
Oh, would you like to hear a little more?
Go for it.
All right, let me just turn the volume up.
They don't call me the king of jazz for nothing.
This is good, like classic, old school, kind of like, oh yeah.
That's not even jazz.
Well,
that's like
blues, I guess.
Bluesy, kind of country blues.
Yeah, I guess more blues than jazz, but it was in the jazz genre. Okay, we'll put that away now.
Anyway.
Welcome to the happy hour, everyone. And welcome to my co-host, Kevin, also a music aficionado when it comes to jazz music.
I like a bit of jazz. Yeah, it's I like the freeform nature of it.
Maybe not aficionado, maybe appreciator.
Look, I'm not an expert. Don't be coming at me with fucking obscure jazz shit, because I will tell you to fuck off. But I do like a bit of jazz, yes. It's nice.
And you're right, that is more of a blues, but actually it's all blues music. I don't even know why I said jazz. Maybe I have jazz on the brain for some other reason. Anyway, jazz on the brain. That's fair enough.
That sounds like jazz on the brain. Definitely sounds like some sort of weird 20s jive turkey talk.
I think jive was a little bit later.
The brain.
I think jive was a little bit later, like the 70s. Yeah. But
it's got rock and roll on the gooch.
Jazz on the brain is better than misogyny on the brain, which is...
That is true. That is definitely true. But as with jazz, with misogyny, it's not the misogyny you hear, it's the misogyny you don't hear.
No.
That's a little jazz reference.
I think actually
Never mind.
It is the misogyny we're about to hear. Right. So you want to tell the story, Kevin, of how we came to decide to do this happy hour? Because you were the initiator.
Yeah, well, I suggested this because YouTube is shit, as you may know. And when you watch something from a gobshite, as I tend to do on the internet, because I shout at gobshites, YouTube recommends lots more gobshitery. So I was recommended this, and if you want to just get up the thumbnail.
Yep.
Now, knowing this Vaush character, who I think Kristi described him very well as the Sargon of the left.
Sargon of the left, yep.
Yeah. That's the video that we're going to watch. It's called On the Sociopathy of Warren Voters, which is amazing. And the phrase that got me, this isn't feminism. Because what I would like to hear is old fucking dickhead McNickbeard over here explaining what feminism is. He knows these things. He's the knower of the feminisms.
He is the arbiter of what is and is not feminism, as we are going to find out.
Yeah. Now, note that he's going to tell us what real feminism is. This video is amazing. The levels of misogyny are genuinely alt-rightian.
Oh, femoid comes up.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that's...
As does my blood pressure
when
watching this cockhead.
All right. So definitely a content warning for this is not suitable for work. Don't play this out loud at your desk.
No.
Also, there is a lot of misogyny and a lot of just, not content warning, just sort of vile speculation on people's mental health. So, I guess to start... Oh, and then the other thing. Okay, so you saw this video.
Yeah, and I clicked on it like an idiot, and I thought, Kristi will like this because it's got misogyny and stats. And if there's anything in the winter's wheelhouse, it's stats.
That's true. That is true. So you sent this to me via Facebook Messenger and like going to do a show on this. And I asked you if I should watch it in advance or if I should live react. And you said, oh, there's stats in it. And so, you're probably going to want to check those out beforehand.
Yeah.
So
I know Kristi well enough to know that if the stats involved, she's going to want to watch that shit.
Yeah,
because Kristi is the bringer of the numbers.
I am the general and the bringer of the numbers.
She has receipts and she's not afraid to use them.
Oh, do I have receipts for you tonight? I've got beautiful receipts. Many receipts to enjoy.
Okay, you're starting to get a bit Trumpy in there. I've got the best receipts.
Yes.
People can't believe how great my receipts are. I have the best receipts, trust me.
People in the chat, let us know if our audio levels are right or if Kevin needs to come up a little bit or whatever. All right, so yeah, I tried watching
or don't tell us because I don't fucking care what you dickheads can hear.
And you guys
frankly.
know that I do it because I love y'all and I want you to enjoy it. Plus, they want to hear every word that falls from your luscious...
I love you, but I'm not in love with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stick around until I get tired of you, then go away.
Like, we might make out once or twice, but we're not getting married. So...
I was going to go into a side conversation about having to describe the phrase heavy petting in German to somebody, but I think we should just move along. All right.
Heavy petzen!
It's basically the same phrase in German, I learned. But anyway, I tried to watch this video.
Das Bubenfehlen.
Now, Kevin, did you watch it all in one go?
Yeah.
How?
White male cis privilege. It doesn't, because it's not attacking me. So on a personal level, I don't think I'm as viscerally offended in the same way that I would be if it was attacking me. Does that make sense? Like, that sounds quite selfish, but I can't help being the recipient of certain privileges that I'm trying to tear down, to be fair, right? And so it doesn't viscerally affect me in the same way that it would with a woman, because there's one particular phrase which you highlighted off air, we'll get to it, which might be more viscerally offensive to a woman than it would be to me, because I don't have that issue.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, we don't want to spoil it for people who haven't
Exactly.
watched it.
We don't want spoilers. No spoilers.
Because we're going to have to pause after that just so the chat can have time to process it, I think.
Yeah.
I guess. But I think that's about 5 minutes in. So.
Yes.
All right. So you gave it to me and I tried to watch this. And I can only do it in about, the first time around, I can only get through like the first 30 seconds before my brain melted. And I was like, okay, I need to walk away from this because I just have to kind of process what I've heard.
Well, I had to prod you into watching the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Which I think you got the benefit of in the end.
Yeah, I agree. It was the right choice, and I'm glad I did it because I was able to check his sources and his numbers, and we are able to disprove his claims with empirical data. So, I mean, yes, it was definitely worth it because the time I could have done it live, but it would have just been boring. So, but this was emotionally, and it was emotionally exhausting. That was like it was emotionally just frustrating to have to endure the level of sort of Neanderthal knuckle dragging misogyny that is this video.
And a wild penis appears in the chat. Good stuff.
It's a rare sighting of a wild penis.
The lesser spotted peni.
Right. Getting back to this. So I eventually did finish it, but I had to do it in like 1 minute segments or 30-second segments because it took me literally all afternoon. I kept finding other things to do and then remembering I was supposed to watch this freaking video, and I'd come back to it and he'd say something so ridiculously outrageous or wrong-headed, and I'd have to pause it and look it up, and then I would be like, I need to cleanse my emotional state, and then I'd end up on Twitter, which actually was better than listening to Vash. It tells you a little bit about this. All right, so I'm just going to play the opening bit, and it really does speak for itself. So here we go, chat.
Oh, hang on, we should...
Yeah.
We should also say this was recorded by him on Super Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
Or possibly even early Wednesday morning as the results were coming in. And he, as a Bernie Sanders supporter, not exactly enjoying the affair and that level of entitled dipshittery.
Yeah, I think it's
really
probably,
shows.
I'm going to give you a theory I have, a hypothesis, and you can tell me if you think that it's right. After Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg both dropped out and got behind Biden, and then Beto also showed up in Texas, and there was sort of this centrist, moderate wing of the party sort of unity rally. A lot of Sanders' more toxic supporters felt, because Elizabeth Warren was in a similar position to Amy and Pete, they were entitled to have her drop out and get behind Bernie in a sort of similar way, so the progressive wing could rally and kind of counter that unity on the moderate side. Is that kind of your sense as well? A sense of entitlement?
Basically. Yeah. I think that's exactly correct. Yeah. And it's been really annoying and time consuming to have to explain to these people. People dropping out of a race to back the candidate they think is like best of the two front runners is that's not rigging. That's just called politics.
Yeah,
that's what happens. Like that, it's so frustrating to hear them say, "Oh, well, what about this or what about that?" That's not rigging. You may say, "Oh, there are people who don't want him to become president." Yeah, of course there are. There are people who don't want every single candidate that's ever existed to become president at some point. That's fine. You have to find a way around that to become president. It's not easy. It shouldn't be fucking easy.
Yeah, Castro did the same thing when he dropped out and campaigned for Warren. Nobody complained then.
Yeah.
You know.
And as you said, but you've had like Marianne Williamson, is it?
The woman who was in the debate earlier.
The crazy crystals motherfucker. Yeah. She dropped out and she's backed Sanders. So should we say that the crystal cartel have rigged the vote in favour of Sanders, or is it just the natural course of politics? Deal with it.
Yeah, I think Bill de Blasio did the same for Sanders. So.
Yeah.
And so and we know that Bernie had a bad night on election night. We saw a really big turnout from, let's face it, so the way that they asked the question in the exit poll that I was using from the Washington Post was they asked Democrats, do you consider yourself very liberal, moderate, or conservative? And Bernie did exceptionally well with very liberal self-identifying Democrats. And Biden did well with everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're seeing here is that the liberal, the moderate wing is like linking up with the more liberal wing, as opposed to like the conservative wing of the party being more marginalized. You see, like the way that that's being pulled. And so, and then you had massive turnout. I think Virginia saw 70-something% increase in turnout from 2016. Wow. North Carolina, or maybe that was North Carolina, but both of these places were like more than 50% turnout. And Sanders did see an increase in youth turnout, but every other demographic age cohort did higher. So,
and not just that, but if we claim on this channel and indeed on this side of politics to stand with marginalized people. And in America, you can't talk about marginalization without talking about race. And black voters overwhelmingly turned out for Biden. Now, I've said in the past that I have my issues with that, in the sense that, like, I don't think that's necessarily in their best interest, but I understand that they've got their reasons and all the rest of it. But either way, they did, and that means something. And the way Vaush and many people, unfortunately, on the sort of further parts of the left, who are Bernie stands for some reason, even though he's not one of you guys, he's a social democrat. But even so, the way they Vaush gives a fantastic in the sense that it
horrific
shows perfectly well the point I'm trying to make, but it's actually a disgusting thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
The just dismissive, condescending bullshit that this guy spews out towards people from the African American community in America is disgusting. He knows better than them, basically, is the point. Which shouldn't be surprising given that we already showed you the fucking thumbnail, and he thinks that as a white fucking neckbeardy prick on the internet, he knows what feminism is better than, actual feminists. So shouldn't be surprising, but it's no less disgusting.
Yeah. So I guess it's in the context of this sort of realization that Bernie is not going to sweep the 7 states as predicted or even doing better. He is lashing out at Warren supporters, but he sort of conflates Warren supporters with women supporters as if Warren had no men who supported her. But anyway, I guess we should get on with that. But I think this is all really good background and context. As you say, it's March 4th that this was at least published. So Super Tuesday morning.
This is exactly what I mean when I say that Warren supporters are subhuman who value only aesthetics, as liberals typically do.
Subhuman. So straight away to the people who, because we put the thing together last time with a video from last year, and a lot of people criticize us, and I think unfairly for the most part, saying, "Well, that's old. He's changed. He doesn't talk about people like that anymore." Apart from literally last week, where he described Elizabeth Warren supporters as subhuman. Now, Vaush, let's just say hypothetically Sanders gets the nomination, you're going to need 95 to 100% of Warren supporters to vote for him to become president, to have any chance, right? Do you think maybe calling them subhuman is more or less likely to make them vote for your candidate? And I don't care whether you think people should look past that. I'm telling the realpolitik of this. Do you think that it's going to make them more or less likely to vote for your candidate? And then ask yourself why you're calling them subhuman. Even if you think that, which you shouldn't because it's fucking ridiculous and disgusting, play the proper game here. This is fucking stupid. You're a moron. You're an angry, childish moron.
He both feels entitled to Warren dropping out and endorsing Sanders and getting all her supporters behind him, and to call them subhuman. Both of these things, for some reason, don't conflict in his mind. As we'll see.
This is what makes me so depressed about the state of the left, is that this motherfucker does pretty well. Look, he's up to 60,000. Look, that's significant growth in a relatively short span of time. What does that say about the left, that they're gravitating towards fucking garbage like this? Yeah,
we got almost 2,000 likes on this.
This is really depressing. The state of the left is fucking ridiculous. If he's being held up as one of our thought leaders and leftist YouTube, I don't want to be a part of leftist YouTube. This is exactly the shit that we came across with the fucking skeptics back in the day.
I was just going to say, just replace Warren with Anita.
Yeah, it's exactly, and that's that. But they've got their whole the woke scold is the new SJW. The Bernie, cult thing is the kind of the new Gamergate, if you will. Look, it's the similarities and the parallels are a little bit worrying, frankly, because BreadTube could have been something cool, and it's fucking shit.
Yeah, because it was willing to tolerate this stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to asking people, you know what, we have standards about progressivism that extends beyond class, and if you're going to be going after groups who you're supposed to, as a progressive, be advocating for, we don't want to hang out with you. You're not part of our movement. You go do your own thing over there, and just keep our names out of your mouth. Yeah.
And this is the thing. Look, I'm perfectly happy to, as some people have argued, to rehabilitate people and all the rest of it. Yeah. That's fine. Like, you can make mistakes and fuck up and all the rest of it. But when the rate of progress with the likes of Vaush is so glacial, and he keeps going back on it with, this subhuman shit and his use of the R word and all the rest of it. And he keeps occasionally popping up with transphobic shittery as well. Like, I'm sorry, you get so many chances, and then eventually you have to say, no, this person's toxic.
Yeah, because their
unless they themselves,
sincere.
Unless they themselves fundamentally change.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing we or anyone else can do for them.
And changing isn't just saying you're sorry or going on Vaush's stream and saying, oh, it was really cringy. It's actually a change of behavior, as well.
Yeah.
So, okay.
An apology has to be allied to a fundamental change in the way in which you operate to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's entirely hollow.
Yeah, an apology is an intention to exhibit a different behavior in future. And if you don't change your behavior, the apology was meaningless.
Yeah. Anyone can say the words.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Quite. Tell Cenk Uygur about forming unions at his business.
Yes, did you see that? That was funny.
Yeah.
Made me laugh when eventually his candidacy is now over. Ha ha ha. Yeah, he was encouraging his staff at the Young Turks not to form a trade union, so he can go fuck himself. What a delightful liberal he is. Oh no, he's not. Mm-hmm. Also, did you see the video of him screaming at some black people in the airport?
Yes, because he had to wait 4 hours for a plane.
Who hasn't had to wait 4 hours for a plane?
Seriously.
Well, other than those who don't fly, I suppose. But anyone who's ever been into an airport reasonably regularly has had to wait for a fucking plane. And what fucking rush are you in exactly, Cenk?
Yeah.
You've got to get back and do another video where you fucking talk over a woman about things you don't understand. Brilliant. I'm sure the world can wait.
Yeah, we can wait till after lunch for that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're 7 seconds.
Or the one reason I would excuse is if he had another date with Charlie Kirk screaming at him from the crowd, because that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I would. I
live like a capitalist every day, Cenk. That will never die. That was always funny.
Okay, all right, hitting play because we were only 7 seconds in.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Don't even try blaming Warren tonight. Y'all have been running for over 4 years with a 100% name ID and incredible fundraising.
So what Charlotte here is referring to is that Bernie Sanders was not performing well as he had hoped in places like Texas and in the Northeast. And of course, there's a lot of this Warren is the problem. And this is Warren pushback saying, don't blame us because your candidate didn't get votes. If you can't win some voters to your candidate, that's your candidate's problem, not our problem. Well,
Kristi, please. He's going to disprove the idea that the Bernie bros are conspiratorial misogynists by inventing a conspiracy theory where you can get to blame a woman for the fault of a man.
Right. Yes. Because
logic.
All right, hitting play.
Warren is not your problem. Step back and reflect on what you can improve. So this is a nothing statement, right?
No, actually, it's a completely good piece of political advice. Because
not just that, it's a good piece of life advice.
Yeah.
Something that Vaush, seriously, a piece of advice you would do very well to consider. Very, very well to consider.
Yes, actually, on just on a personal level, like life choices.
Which is probably why you react so angrily to it.
Maybe.
Because it touches a fucking nerve. Because I bet people in his real life are like, dude, come on now. Don't be a dick. Just, you can improve yourself, honest. You can. You don't have to be this way.
Yeah. And the point here is that Bernie's got a gender gap that we don't talk about, but he's got like a 10 plus point gender gap between men and women in the aggregate. And he had a really difficult time connecting with the African American community, despite having had 4 years and 100% name recognition after his last run. So to say, Sanders, you guys should look internally and not say, oh, Warren stole our votes is a really apt point.
Yeah. And it's a point we made on the last show about him. He needed to pivot to make more points in favor of actual racial justice, not just doing, economic justice means black people will be better off, which again is not untrue, but it's not sufficient. He went and spoke at Flint, Michigan, either today or yesterday. I forget. Apologies. But I saw him in the clips. And the people that were there were saying that he not only did he not give his full stump speech, he gave like a shortened version of it. He didn't address any of the racial issues, which when you're in Flint, with the water crisis, because it's black people and all the rest of it, that's prime real estate to be making racial points.
Apparently,
this is not some white bread fucking hick town with no coloured people at all. We're talking about one of the most obviously sensitive racial areas of the country with a genuine immediate grievance. Talk about it, and he didn't. So he's not doing the exact thing he needs to do to have any chance.
Now, someone on Twitter replied, well, he was going right after to a panel on African American issues. And someone under that said, yeah, if you looked at the crowd, it looked like Utah Snow White. I don't think it makes much sense to talk about African American issues in front of an all-white crowd. And I just went, I am flummoxed. I am flummoxed. Bernie spending an hour talking about African American issues to an all-white crowd is exactly what he needs to do. Yeah. That's exactly what he needs to do. How do you guys not see this? Oh yeah, just go over to your panel and talk to the black people about the black issues, and then come and talk to everybody else about the issues we should all care about, black people. You know, come join us.
Yeah, listen up, blacks. Your saviour's here. I'm going to tell you what's up. Then I'm going to go speak to some crackers for a few hours. It's all good, yeah?
You know, I mean...
Who's got some fried chicken and watermelon?
So, God. I mean, and this is it. I talked about this on my show that, you know, Joe Rogan pointed to the fact that Bernie Sanders has been consistent for the last 30 years. And after 30 years of one message, can he turn on a dime and change his rhetoric in order to be more inclusive? And this is his week to prove it in the next 2 weeks. Because if he loses Michigan and he loses Missouri and he loses Mississippi, that's going to send a signal. And right after is Florida. If he gets blown out in Florida, how can you lose Minnesota, Michigan, Florida, and Texas and say that you can turn, you know, yeah. I mean, he's
already lost Florida, basically.
Yeah. I mean,
if you look at the polling, awful.
He might not even get viability. He's at like 12%.
For a state that you're almost certainly going to have to win in the general, is abysmal.
And when Biden is getting 70% turnout increases in Virginia and in North Carolina, which we need to flip North Carolina, you know, we need good turnout for down ticket Dems. So anyway, they do have to look internally. That was the point. But Vash, no. This isn't about Bernie's campaign.
Yeah. This is not about me. This is about the WOMs.
Yes. This is about the WOMs are the problem, according to Vash.
Not misogynist, but it's definitely the WOMs.
Yeah. All right. Hitting play.
Here, this doesn't actually say anything, but we can unearth a lot of really condescending blame,
just lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
He's also, pointing out condescending blame.
Yeah. If it's meaningless, how are you able to dig anything out from it? Does he know what the word meaning means?
This entire segment is condescending blame.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't get over that hypocrisy. Okay, hitting play.
Deflection
and deflection as well. Blame and deflection.
We're 29 seconds in and we've stopped 7 times.
This is why it took me a day and a half to watch this video. All right, I'm going to try to not stop and interrupt and point out how ridiculous he is.
Is being engaged in. If we look, a little deeper. So blame Elizabeth Warren. Well, the thing that we're blaming Elizabeth Warren for is not dropping out and endorsing Bernie, because Warren has literally no path to the presidency. Most of, or at least a large chunk of, Warren's voters' second choice are Bernie Sanders.
Can we just? We got through a whole 20 seconds. Good Lord. Well, she has now dropped out. Although, of course, when he made this, he didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But that was what was surprising about Mayor Pete and the Clobes. Where they dropped out before Super Tuesday. Like, if you get to the brink of Super Tuesday, you might as well stay in there.
Well,
is the general feeling.
Because they didn't have the organization or the money or the staff. Like, they had both run out of money. They had no infrastructure, whereas Warren did have an infrastructure, and Bloomberg both had an infrastructure. So to pull up before Super Tuesday, when you've got all these people in primary states, it's bigger for them than it was for Pete or Amy, who never had the money to do that. So there's a reason.
I forgot about Bloomberg. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
The man was the uniter that America needed.
Yeah.
United in both sides of the aisle, fucking laughing at this dickhead, thinking you are pissing your money up the wall, you fucking creepy old weirdo. Stop. Oh no, actually don't. Carry on. This is hilarious. And you know what? He brought the nation together, albeit briefly. Yeah. He was the hero America needed in 2020. Thank you, Mike, for your public service. Now fuck off.
Goodbye. All right. Okay, yeah.
So anyway, so Warren, like you said, Warren had she doesn't now have a viable shot at it, and it was fucking narrow back before Super Tuesday, but she might as well stay in there. I mean, she had her own state, which she came third in, which is really bad.
Yeah.
But you would think like, oh, she should win that. So going in there, she felt like, well, if she can win a couple of states and stay in the race, maybe.
Yeah, she was trying to get that third way between the moderate and the progressive wing and be like the alternative they both turned to. She needed to stay through Super Tuesday to see if that would happen. Yeah. And she had every right to, because it was her campaign.
Yeah. And the analysis that he gives here that she should drop out. Well, she has now dropped out. She just stayed in there a couple of days longer than you personally wanted.
Yep.
Which again is the entitlement here. Motherfucker, she's worked hard for decades to get to this position.
Yeah.
You're some prick on the internet ranting. Like, just sit the well, you already are sat down, but metaphorically sit the fuck down.
Yeah. And of course, he's now called her and her followers sociopaths and femoids. So, you know,
that's... And subhuman, which is lovely.
Yep.
What a great campaigner. What a great Bernie surrogate you are. Fucking hell. This is the thing. When Bernie... If Bernie does lose, I desperately want him to win, but if he does lose, I will so enjoy the likes of Vaush losing their shit. Their tears will sustain me through what will be an awful election run, having to choose Biden over Trump. Fucking hell. But their tears will sustain me.
Well, he's already fatalistically predicting a Biden nomination, which I think he's right now.
It looks that way, yeah. Yeah. Especially given, like, Bernie needs the plurality because he's not going to get the superdelegates. And he knows that. So, in all likelihood, it's going to be probably a contested convention, unless Bernie really does fall away.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at those southern states where Biden's going to blow him out, and his delegate lead just keeps growing and growing, and that momentum keeps going. I mean, winning's like winning. Joe-mentum,
please.
Yeah. People are like, that was for Joe Lieberman. Like, who remembers Joe Lieberman?
Not even Joe Lieberman's fucking family remember Joe Lieberman.
All right, should we get on with this asshat?
Please.
We're going to look at the numbers that he looks at a little bit later on, but needless to say...
Yeah, in about 7 hours when we fucking get to it, we will show you those numbers.
His numbers are inaccurate when he talks about the breakdown between Warren supporters and other candidates, so...
Ostensibly, these people care about a progressive agenda, so by her refusal to drop out, she is taking away votes that would otherwise go to Bernie.
Because the man is more competent, and she shouldn't think that she could win, so she should just drop out and let the man win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would help him out in his fight against Biden, who, purportedly should be somebody that Warren supporters don't want to see win the nomination.
I don't know where he gets this idea. Because... the reason, I supported Warren was because I didn't like Biden and I didn't like Sanders. And she was like someone I was like, okay, well, she's more progressive than, when Harris dropped out in December. I flirted with Warren for a while.
What, did you? I didn't know you knew her personally. Okay. Good stuff.
Well, we share tips on lime green dildos.
Fair enough. Well, good. That's good to see. Because technique is important. So picking up tips from an experienced old hand.
Definitely. I sat at the feet of the master.
Like old fucking iron hips herself. It's good stuff. Good stuff. What was I going to say? Yeah, when does not Minnesota, fuck's sake. When does Milwaukee?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Fuck's sake, Kev. I've got M on the brain here.
Yes, a lot of M states: Missouri, Mississippi, Minnesota, Michigan. We don't vote till April.
Oh, so that's ages away. Okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be over by then.
Very possibly.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how Wisconsin turns out. By the way, since we're going to look up the.
Well, no, I think we need to keep our powder dry. We've had a little distraction with talking about Canada. Let's get back to Vaush for a little bit. I think we can get through like a whole 10 seconds, I reckon. And then we'll get to the dance in a bit.
Okay, because he's going to look up and make some claims about. Okay, we'll look at his claims and then we'll look at the data.
Evidently not the case. So Warren is literally to blame for that.
And just to say, Warren supporters were not going to go like 100% for Sanders.
No.
If they were going to go 100% for Sanders, they would have gone for Sanders.
Well, I saw some number that was like 40% or something, which is fine. But if it's down to 2 candidates and 40 are Bernie, then doesn't that mean that? Well, maybe some don't vote at all, but maybe an equivalent number would go for Biden, so it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, closer to Super Tuesday, those numbers were running more like 46, 47%, maybe 48% for Bernie and 46% for Joe. So they were splitting evenly, and then some other people were maybe just not going to vote or whatever.
Yeah.
So she would have just most likely split the vote And what he's assuming in these situations is that all her vote is stolen from Bernie, not from Biden.
They fucking do this. They say, "Oh, it made the difference." What do you call it? This vote made the difference. Yeah, if you add up two candidates, but that's not how elections work, is it? Like, if some of her voters wouldn't have voted because they got like a personal thing with Elizabeth Warren, so if she wasn't there, they wouldn't have voted at all. And like you say, it's a relatively small split of a relatively small number of people overall anyway. So the overall difference to the result, if it was a 2-horse race, plus Tulsi Gabbard, who cares, would be negligible.
Yes. I mean, even if, let's say, Warren supporters broke 6 to Sanders and 4 to Biden for every 10. There's only a handful of states where she could have maybe gotten closer. But then again, of course, when Bernie gets a 6, Biden gets the 4. So maybe she could have flipped Maine if she wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have made that much difference, really.
No, and it wouldn't have made a difference in North Carolina because she wasn't getting black voters. She was getting suburban college-educated whites. So she's getting like the sort of, the wine drinking segment of the party, as it were.
Out of Pringle cans.
Yeah. Well, no. These are suburban drinkers. They have glasses and probably verandas. And so that would help him a bit. But some of those people, again, we're going to go for Biden. And I don't see the states really, again, other than Maine, which was super close. And it wouldn't have helped him get a lot more delegates in California either. So, all right.
If, for example, Biden severely underperformed during Super Tuesday.
Okay, if he did, but he didn't. Okay, just going to say, if Biden
also,
did.
If Bernie was 10 foot tall and had laser eyes,
yes.
he'd be able to burn all of the people who don't like him. Like, if I had fucking bollocks on my face, people would run away. That would be hilarious, though.
It would definitely get you the solitude you long for.
Yeah, exactly. Although, again, I've said it before, if I was to redesign the balls, I'd keep them where they are. Rib cage. Definite bull rib cage. Protect them.
Oh, you'd put a rib cage over them. I thought you were putting them on
your
inside,
rib cage. Not an external.
Same place, but rib cage. And I was like, how are they going to be in the same place?
Oh, no.
Cage?
No, they'd be, yeah, well, yes. Although when it's cold, they do go up a bit, but not quite to the ribs, to be fair. No, yeah, rib cage around the balls, internal, not like an exoskeleton. That would be weird. Internal, so that they're protected, because a swift kick to the bollocks will hurt.
That's
or possibly
true.
Some sort of ball cranium might work as well.
You've given this a lot of thought, haven't you?
I have. Well, yeah, because you get a swift kick to the bollocks, and it makes you think. It definitely makes you like, well, this needs to be sorted.
If this is intelligent,
if this is intelligent design, what the fuck was the haphazard design?
I'm kind of surprised that no one sort of dropped that ace card on creationists. Like, okay, God intelligently designed the balls and testicles. Explain how exposed testicles like that, so sensitive, are.
Well, actually, I like Dara O'Brien's one. He said, if there's anything that proves that we're not made in the image of God, it's that occasionally you will bite the inside of your mouth. Because have you ever felt less godly than when you literally just like appear to have tried to chew through the side of your own face? And it's true. You bite the inside of your mouth. You think, "I'm sorry, that a god that can create planets and shit, he could have come up with a better system than this. Why do we even need to eat? Just make it so we don't need to eat. It's fine.
Just like
look, it's optional.
Oxygen.
If you want some tastiness, you can have a bit of grub if you want, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It would save us a lot of time for other things.
And hemorrhoids. Why are those a thing? This is not a perfect design. Sorry, go on.
All right. So from that actually rather pleasant conversation in comparison to Vash.
Yeah.
And while Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg did poorly but still held on, they would be in part to blame for him doing poorly.
Okay, so no. The logic isn't, if your candidate isn't good enough to get votes, other candidates who are good enough at getting some votes are not to blame for you not getting their votes because you didn't win them over. If you're a good candidate, you will blow people out.
Well, not just that, but and this is the point I was making when people certain news sites were doing this weird thing where they put all of the other candidates together and say, "Oh, look, they've got more than Bernie," and people were like, "Oh, well, that's silly, isn't it? They're not one person." Yeah, but the point is, eventually the field will whittle down,
Yeah.
and is Sanders going to be able to take any of these people's votes? And he hasn't, which fundamentally shows, unfortunately, because I want him to win, but unfortunately, he's not actually that popular a representative within the general broader church of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not going to win the votes of those people, which, again, you may disagree with, and that's fine. I disagree. I think that it would be really cool. But ultimately, democracy isn't about what I personally want or what you personally want. It's what everyone
it's what
decides.
people vote for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good point. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. I was such a good point, I forgot mine. So I'm just going to hit play.
My point was so good, it blew your fucking brain.
It really did.
I'm cracking open minds here tonight.
All right. Hitting play.
That is how it works. It is a mathematical fact that Warren's behavior has significantly decreased the likelihood of Bernie Sanders becoming the nominee.
Just, no.
How does that make a mathematical fact?
I don't see where the maths come from at all. Because again, unless you assume 100% of her supporters would have gone and voted for Sanders. And even then, there are only a couple places where she would have made the difference. It wouldn't have caught him up with black voters or with older voters or with whites or with women.
Yeah, she finished third in her own state. Her overall voter base wasn't very big. So even if it was 70-30, it still wouldn't have made that much difference in most states because there are not that many Warren voters in those places this time round.
We're about to see the mind meld of Sargon and Vaush, right? Because he's going to argue, on the one hand, that her campaign is so strong and powerful that it stole votes that actually belong to Bernie and she's bringing him down. But he's also going to argue that she has a terrible campaign and she can't win her own state. So which is it? Is she a terrible candidate who really can't even win her own state and isn't a threat? Or is she like this vacuum sucking up voters away from Bernie?
She's both, as and when you need it. Yes. It's Schrodinger's convenient scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. So it's both terrifying and weak at the same time. Both strong and weak at the same time. Gee, who else talks about people like that?
I can't possibly think, Kristi. That's way beyond me. You'd need a political expert for that.
All right, I'm hitting play.
That is what we are blaming her for. Step back and reflect on what you can improve. Yeah, fuck off. What is this? What is this deflection?
That is so Sargon. Step back. No, I'm not going to analyze what I could do better. No, I'm just going to say fuck you. Are you 7 years of age, dude? What the fuck is wrong with you? Who gets offended by that?
Yeah. You know, when your candidate loses, if you don't learn the lessons of that loss, you're just going to make them again and again and again.
Yeah, even if you do it 4 years later, it's still going to be the thing.
Yeah.
That's the really disappointing thing from my perspective as a Sanders supporter, is that he hasn't learned those lessons from 4 years ago. Did he not realise this was eventually going to come down to a two-horse race, and he was going to need those other people's votes?
Yeah, just do the South.
Look, even if you lie, I mean, this is going to sound like a kind of weird thing to say, but politicians at that level need to lie. You need to pretend to be something you're not, which I suppose to a degree aren't things like guns rights or whatever he sort of already is. But when it comes to the tax plans and all the rest of it, you essentially have to soften things up a little bit because people don't want to necessarily go that far, as we can see, because most people voting for fucking Joe Biden, who's a creepy old man. Like, he hasn't learned those lessons. He hasn't spoken to black people enough. He hasn't spoken to women enough. And when I say, I don't mean literally speaking to them. I mean like communicating with them across the nation.
Go spend time in the South. Go listen. Go on a listening tour of the South.
Doesn't need to. Everywhere's like Vermont is a sentence no one has ever said.
It was not a good look to not go to Selma.
Yeah.
Right after.
Or to the LGBT thing early in the campaign. Look, people forget the individual bits and bobs, but collectively, people, look, it has an impact on the race. Because in those local areas, people notice who was and wasn't there.
Yep.
You know.
So, okay. So anyway, hitting play.
Like, Warren is not your problem. It is a problem. Maybe there are other problems, but let's not do any whataboutism here. Warren is significantly hampering the chance of a progressive candidate making it through the White House.
Hang on. Whoa. Did he just say let's not do any whataboutism, having said, well, if Pete Buttigieg would have been a giant chicken made out of cheese, then Joe Biden would have flown to the moon next Sunday. Like, what?
Yeah, I
You
guess
literally just made up a hypothetical situation and gone, well, Bernie would have won. So what?
Well, his point was more that if Biden would have done poorly because other candidates stayed in, then those candidates would have been to blame for Biden's loss in the same way than the transitive property going over that Warren is to blame for Sanders' loss. But that didn't happen with Bernie. So it also doesn't make sense no matter which candidate you apply to.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, the whole telling it's a horrible campaign. He does a whole close up to the camera. It's coming up, but just remember he said that her campaign is very strong and taking away votes from Bernie. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Well, if you're losing to a really shit campaign, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, that doesn't really reflect well on you.
No.
So, okay.
But here, they can stay mad. It's cute, I like, this is supposed to be insincere, but Warren is coming in third place in her home state. Let me repeat that. Warren is coming in third place in her home state.
Because she's such a terrible candidate, but at the same time.
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that he says, oh, these people, they can stay mad. You just told a person on Twitter to go fuck themselves because they said maybe you should introspect. Who's mad here? Okay, babe. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Has he got a fucking mullet?
Kind of looks like it.
Oh, grim.
That shouldn't come back. That shouldn't have been a thing in the first place, if I'm honest.
But again, what we need is old fucking mullet McNeckbeard to tell us about feminism. Definitely.
Well, that's coming up. It's coming up.
He's like a mixture of an 80s man and a fucking caveman throwback. Oh, God, the raw sexual power.
I know, I'm glad you see it. I don't. All right.
All right. Yeah.
Hitting play.
When there are only like 4 real candidates still participating. So that's fucking hilarious. Of the real candidates, not, including Tulsi Gabbard, who again, like, let's be real. Of the real candidates, she only placed higher than one of them in her home state. Nobody likes Warren. She's run a shit campaign. Nobody likes how she backtracked.
So what difference does it make then if she drops out? If no one's supporting her, then you've got no votes to win from her.
And that's where he turns into Sargon. Yeah. The same kind of tactics.
We're not even 2.5 minutes in, and he's already contradicted himself in like a fundamental way.
Mm-hmm.
God, this guy is fucking cancer.
Awful. Yep. Okay, hitting play.
In her progressive policies, she's too progressive for the centrists and too centrist for the progressives. Her chances nosedived. So sorry, honey. Ooh.
Yeah, the person who goes around calling women honey.
Mm-hmm. What a feminist.
He knows the feminisms.
So sorry, guys. Remember the good old days of Warren being up here? What happened?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. She costed out M4A, and she had to answer questions on it. Didn't go so well, and Bernie hasn't done the same.
Oh, hey, Jamie J in the chat.
So,
that was basically the person from last week or whenever, or earlier this week when we did the other show, and there was the person that Vaush was attacking in the clip.
Hey, Jamie. Yeah. Good to see you.
It was on a thing with yesterday on social justice alchemy with
oh, nice.
Some random geek and Leto and some other peeps. It was good. Tom wasn't there though.
Oh, sad face. Yeah, I miss Tom. I have to have a patron hangout, even though I'm not doing Patreon anymore.
Probably. What? Who's not doing Patreon? What?
Oh, I'm not really asking for money for my Patreon anymore.
Oh, okay.
Just like because I don't really need the money. So.
Oh, look who's fucking rich.
No. I just realized that other people probably I don't need it as much for my startup costs anymore because I'm 5 years in and I'm pretty good. Got everything I need.
You are pretty good, to be fair.
All right. Anyway, let's we'll go through this part. Tom is a bad
What
call.
happened, Warren? You plummeted because you started taking super PAC money. You backtracked on Medicare for all. You started attacking Bernie Sanders over petty personal differences rather than uniting against your actual ideological opponents. You refused to drop out, and you took fucking Hillary Clinton's staffer.
When he says ideological opponents, I think he thinks there's more of a difference between these candidates than there actually is.
Yeah.
We're not talking about communists versus centrists. We're talking about basic social democrats versus centrist.
Yeah, Democrats.
So there's not they're not, when you say ideological opponents, actually, as Bernie Sanders himself said, there's more that unites him with Joe Biden than divides him. And that if Joe Biden gets the nomination, he'll campaign for him. That's cool. He did the same with Hillary Clinton. Like, the differences between these people is magnified, understandably, during the primary process. But trust me, there's probably more difference between you and Bernie Sanders than there is between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Vaush.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in this video. I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about this.
I don't think he'd be like super cool with you. Like, again, I won't say the phrase, but he says a phrase later on which is
shocking,
crude to the point that even I wouldn't say. I wouldn't even jokingly say it.
No, I actually don't think I would. I don't think you would.
No, like I'll do jokes about body parts, but that's it's just
it's also the whole context
horrible.
of it.
Well, yeah, exactly, and it's demeaning because.
All right. Well, we're 2 minutes.
People
away
shouldn't
from
be boiled. People shouldn't be boiled down to just their body bits. Which I think is a pretty standard bit of leftism. Vaush, just saying bra.
Right. Yeah, hitting play.
First. I'll give them the free hint. Stop acting like the most loyal Democrats, i.e. black folk, are too stupid to understand the greatness of Sanders. We understand our history and relationship with this nation. We don't need educating. We need to be heard. I'm sorry. How's Warren doing in that minority vote versus Sanders?
That's his response to someone talking to their experience as a black person?
Yeah. And not just that, but how's Sanders doing compared to Biden in that regard?
Yeah. I mean, yes.
But Sanders is doing well amongst Latinx peeps. But Joe Biden's mopping up the black vote.
Yep. And the white vote.
And yeah. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. Sanders did really badly. It gives me no joy in this world whatsoever to say it, but it's true. The numbers are what they are. He got fucking absolutely rinsed on Super Tuesday.
Yes, and and that response to someone who is trying to tell you your candidate needs to do better in the black community by listening to them, and then you tell them how much better your candidate is in a diverse with people of color. You're just proving their point.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but it's not even the most disgusting, condescending bullshit he throws at black people in this video.
No.
Amazing.
All right, little break here. I want to thank the last nerve. Reverse psychology. Take my money, Kristi, for $2 because I said I wasn't doing Patreon. So thank you for that. Also, thanks for all of the work that you lot did on the fundraiser. I know you guys did a separate fundraiser for Essence of Thought's legal fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done to that. And I think that's still ongoing. They're doing interviews today.
Yeah, there were some technical issues, so I think they might have to be rescheduled. But
okay, well, there's still money and things. Kristi, put a link to the thing under this when we're done.
Okay.
Or if it's all there, whatever. And go give money to the Trans Defense Fund thing, to basically a way of saying fuck you, Graham Linehan, which is always good.
And protect people who criticize him that he threatens with suits.
And I had to play fucking D&D for 6 hours. So go and give money, otherwise. I mean, I made the joke. I don't know if it was on air or off air. I said, yeah, considering I've had to do all of this, Graham Linehan had better fucking sue you. Otherwise, what was the point? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so thanks to that whole crew who did their separate fundraiser and made a contribution. I think they raised and matched $300 for that. So
good stuff.
Really fantastic.
Awesome.
All right, can I hit play so we can get this Zoom off the screen?
Can you hit what now?
Can I hit play now so we can move on? This shot is starting to scare me.
You just can't handle the raw power, the sexual power. I mean, look at him. It's like virility come to life.
All right, I'm just hitting play.
Endorphins.
He's doing just fine in the minority vote.
Oh, he's just dismissive. Bernie's doing just fine with minority vote. Really? Do you want to see the numbers that showed on the exit poll? Biden up 41 points with black voters, up 10 points with white voters. We'll come to it later. We'll get there.
Okay.
But yeah, those are the numbers, and he did not do well, as we found out.
I think it's time for Bernie to drop out and endorse Elizabeth for the good of the cause. I mean,
okay, that's dumb.
I think they're being ironic as well.
Oh, okay.
Because, you get it shouted at you all the time, and you just turn around and give it back. That's kind of how I read that. Because if you see, there's like a smiley face on it.
Oh, is that? I can't. Yeah, I'm more than 3 inches away from the screen. I can't see shit. Actually, my eyesight's pretty good, but that is small writing.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
It's a smiley face.
Well, the way he read it, I was thinking, if that's being literal, that's fucking dumb.
Well, of course, he's reading it that way to be aggressive.
If it's a joke, then yeah, okay. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Cool. Good for you.
All right, so let's watch his reaction to a smiley face.
This must be the only time ever on primary day where American Samoa is trending.
Probably, because that's where Bloomberg finally got some delegates. That's right.
Yeah. He spent more per delegate in American Samoa than American Samoa is worth. Like the actual land mass of American Samoa. Because it's fucking small.
Oh,
there we go.
All right, didn't play.
And why did if there's any American Samoans out there, tell us, the fuck are you doing? Who votes for Bloomberg?
What was that all about? What was the draw?
Did he just bribe some peeps? Because there aren't that many people there. I bet he's just like, I will give you $100. It's still cheaper than the shit I'm spending this money on anyway. There are a lot of people got pretty well remunerated for whatever that
selling
thing.
Their vote.
That thing that was poorly constructed as, I think, a presidential campaign.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was supposed to be, but whatever it was, yeah.
It'll definitely go down as a cautionary tale to other people who want to wait and jump in late. Like,
well, I suppose from his perspective, he's old as balls and he can't take it with him. So you might as well throw it away on a campaign that gets you humiliated and remembered forever as the worst campaign to have ever existed. Per dollar, the worst campaign that's ever been run.
Well, he'll go down until the next billionaire tries, I guess.
Probably. Almost certainly, yes.
Yeah. All right, hitting play.
No. Elizabeth literally has no chance of becoming the president. That would be fucking insane.
He's ignoring the smiley face.
Warren is neither the problem politically, strategically, nor mathematically. This is factually incorrect. Bernie ran a campaign that was nearly identical to his 2016 bid. The only difference is greater Latino support, which does not make him mathematically viable without the black vote.
True.
Yeah. You can't. We said this at the very beginning. The black vote makes up a significant chunk, especially in certain places, because obviously black people aren't spread very evenly across America. But in certain places where you get high black votes, and they're largely Democratic supporters, Democratic Party supporters, that's going to make up a significant portion. If you lose the black vote badly, you're going to lose. Because you're not going to hoover up all of the white vote, and all of the Latino vote, and all of the Asian American vote.
Yeah.
So you're going to need a fair chunk of those votes, and Bernie isn't getting them. And like I say, having gone to Flint and not talked about black issues, I get it. Like, I get that. I'm not entirely convinced why they would vote for Joe Biden, but if it's a two-horse race,
well, you have
the
to
guy
remember,
who's like Obama's mate.
Obama saved the audio. Yeah. Obama saved the auto industry in Michigan.
Yeah.
Biden was there.
Exactly, and he's got the name brand recognition. Like, he's been in a million photos with Barack Obama. I get that. And he's run his whole campaign on, when I was mates with Barack Obama, we did X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that plays. Yeah.
And he had Amy Klobuchar in Michigan for him earlier in the week, and he's just had Kamala Harris, who's going to Michigan for him because she's endorsed him today, and she's going to be with him in Michigan. So he's pulling together the two parts of the base. The African-American or black voters and suburban women with Amy Klobuchar.
You know, I find funny when people talk about the base. Do you know what the Arabic for the base is?
No.
Al-Qaeda. That's literally what the translation is. It means the base.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't speak any Arabic, and now I speak a
I don't, but I know that one fact about Arabic.
Okay.
And that it looks like squiggliness.
It does look
but
like
apparently it is a real language. Okay. Do I trust the billion people in the world who speak it? I'm not sure.
Is it really a language? All right. I think
Or are they, again, when the tourists are around, they just go, blah, 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 and it's just, they're just playing a trick on the foreigners. And when they go, oh, thank fuck that's over. Jesus.
Well, I wouldn't blame them.
Foreigners are fucked off. Yeah.
After the whole colonial thing.
Anyway, Abdul, pass me that ham sandwich.
All right. I'm just going to hit play before we get in any more trouble.
What the fuck
It's your
does
channel.
this mean?
I can't get any strikes on my channel for this.
All right. Let's go and hear his response to this about...
Teen bid. The only difference is greater Latino support, which again does not make him mathematically viable without the black vote. What the fuck does this mean? What mathematically? For one, he has by far like the best minority polling across the board.
No,
he doesn't. That's not true.
He does well,
but it isn't.
Yeah, if you're under the age of 30, then
yeah,
your age predictor is a better predictor of your support than your ethnic background under the age of 30. But over the age of 30, the Sanders support just plummets, especially with communities with black voters.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't understand this by now, like what is
well,
he...
like I say, yeah, I don't want to just repeat myself, but the really frustrating thing is he hasn't learned, and that's a shame because he's like, to get to that position, you have to have something about you in terms of nous. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have some political smarts, and yet when it comes to like the final jump, so to speak, it doesn't seem like he has it in him. And you think, why? You've gotten this far. You must know what you're doing.
And presumably at this point, we're talking about East Coast results coming in. So it is Virginia and North Carolina. And, all of these where Biden is just sweeping up and they're looking at massive turnout. And the exit polls are showing that African Americans are swinging strongly to Biden. And he's saying, no, Bernie's got the better, he does best in diversity in polling. No,
yeah,
dude,
well, that's not true.
The votes count, not the polls you pick.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, on this occasion, he's doing this on the night itself, so he wouldn't have access to the information of who did vote.
Well, the exit polls were starting to come out before, like as soon as the polls closed. And and if they're already talking about the black vote, I'm assuming at this point. And if American Samoa is trending.
For two,
If American Samoa is trending, then it has to be enough results in for the night for that story to... Yeah, where he's projected to win.
No, the people of America really care about American Samoa, and they totally know that it exists. They do. All of them. All of America knows that American Samoa is a real place that exists. Honest.
All right. So I think he is sort of willfully being blind here to the good advice that the Warren people are pointing out to him. Myself. All right.
Yeah.
We're only to 4 minutes. We got to get going.
Close behind Biden in black votes. It's only like older Southern blacks that overwhelmingly go to Biden.
Okay. Should we get some data out now?
The condescending bullshit. Because apparently, if you're old and Southern, the fact that you're African American doesn't mean anything anymore. You're not really like a proper black. And he knows. Again, old Cracker McNickbeard here knows a good black when he sees one.
All right, so this was coming out at 1 o'clock in the morning, I guess, whenever, like, with Steve Kornacki sent it out. But this was the exit poll with black voters, 60% for Biden, 17% for Sanders. And then...
Also, I like that Steve Kornacki is at Steve Kornacki. No funniness, no numbers, no silliness. Just, I am at Steve Kornacki. Good man.
Yes, he's a very sort of does what it says on the tin kind of guy.
Exactly. The kind of name you can set your clock by.
Right. So is Vaush right in it was only old Southern black people who voted for Biden? Well, we see here that in the exit polls,
he's tight in the one age range where Sanders mops up constantly. He's drawing.
Yep.
In the black vote.
Yep. Then
he's more than double in 34. Fucking hell! And then over 63%.
Yeah.
Steyer beat him.
Yep.
Steyer beat him in the fucking over 45 to 59 range in black votes.
Yep, and then 60 plus.
Yeah.
76% of those over 60 went
and
for
again,
Biden.
Steyer beat him comfortably.
Yep.
It's barely margin of error. Well, I mean, it's the actual result, but you know.
And look at this. Even if Warren gave Sanders 100% of her vote, that would only get him to 34. Biden still beats Sanders.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the youth vote, Warren got 10%. Oh yeah, that would have done it. But in this case, that voting block, it would not have made it.
But as we know, the under 30s vote less.
Yeah, they're a smaller percentage of the overall population of voters.
So even if you win those, if you win that one and lose all the others, you lose.
You lose.
Yeah.
And then when this happens, when the distribution looks like this, the result looks like this.
Yeah, that's very convincing.
Thank you.
I mean, what can you say? Look, you can't argue with the numbers.
No.
The numbers aren't giving you an opinion. The numbers aren't giving you a hypothesis or a guess. They're giving you the concrete fact right there. 60%.
I would call this, for the Sanders campaign, a flashing red light.
Yeah. So if you go to a place like Flint, Michigan, maybe you mention black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a thought.
So I had that at the ready because of the prep we did for this. Oh, and here's my thread about the results and some other stuff. So yeah, we'll come on to that maybe. Although I'm losing the will to live, and I don't think we really think Vaush is a good political analyst at this point. So maybe I can.
I think he's one of the great political thinkers of the age, Kristi.
Oh, that's obviously a sarcastic comment. All right, hitting play.
For 3, what is this fucking deflection? I like how these Warren supporters are trying to, from a distance, like distance themselves from the blame for Warren's behavior, taking votes away from Sanders by making these bad faith accusations of.
Do we need to look at the numbers that Warren had again to prove that she took no numbers away from Sanders in black votes?
Not just that, but I don't think he's got a leg to stand on when it comes to deflecting away from the failure of the candidate they support. Because that's what this entire video is. Vaush.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of like not being able to hold to the black vote. But what if blaming everything on a woman is easier? These fucking Harry Potter libs, dude. This is literally, factually Warren's fault, in large part. I mean, there are other factors, of course, but Warren is worsening it substantially. That's just a.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So anyway, what's it like to be a Harry Potter lib?
I don't even know what that means. That's obviously is a little.
It doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. But is that the new shit lib?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that also maybe it is? Maybe it's a difference of shit lib.
Fantasy land of aesthetics.
Because no, it's a piece of literary criticism as well as a description. You're saying Harry Potter is shit, so shit lib becomes Harry Potter lib. It's very clever. It's meta.
Okay. Here we go.
He's a Shakespeare of our age, people.
Klobuchar and Buttigieg, Buttigieg, who was doing better than Warren, both dropped out to endorse the candidate with whom they had an ideological similarity, thus increasing the likelihood that their ideology gets in the White House. Warren is not doing that, and their voters, these lunatic fucking Harry Potter liberals, are far more concerned with getting good clapback.
Yeah.
Subhuman, lunatic Harry Potter libs.
Support my guy.
Yeah. Please vote for my candidate, you fucking lunatic subhuman. I wonder what it is about that message that isn't quite hitting home.
Why aren't people turned on? Oh, look at all the snakes in his comments as well.
Of course.
Nice, very nice.
Tweets from Warren, if we get another centrist leadership and, if a bunch of people die because of lack of health care, if we get centrist leadership for 4 years in the Democratic Party, or if we lose to...
I know we're trying to get through this, but I have to stop it. Because it's becoming one of it makes me want to punch the fucking wall. It's so frustrating. This argument that if you don't support Bernie Sanders, you're in favour of people dying. No. The difference is, Vaush, right? I'm sure if they had absolute free reign, I'm sure people like Elizabeth Warren or whatever would love to do Medicare for all. The point is, they're coming together with plans they think that they can get through. It's not that they want people to be uninsured. It's that there's the real state of affairs they have to deal with. Like, I like the fact that Bernie supports M4A, but I don't think he's got a chance in hell of getting it through. Because you can't do that by executive order. You're going to have a reasonable majority, it seems, in the House. And in the Senate, at best, you're going to have a razor-thin majority with blue dog Democrats.
It's always
Hello?
about coalition. Yeah. I mean, in Virginia, they just passed a measure at the state level to raise the minimum wage over the next couple years to $12.50 an hour. And they said, they put out the scale, like next year it's going to stay at $7.50, and then it's going to go to $8, then it's going to go to $9, then $10, then by this year, 2020, whatever, it's going to be to $12.50. And people in the comments were immediately, it needs to be 15. And they're like, yeah, we know it needs to be 15, but we can't get 15. So we got this. And people are still complaining. It's like, it takes a while, and it takes progress, and you have to make compromises, and you don't get everything you want right away. And you can't shit on people for doing what's getting you in the right direction because it isn't perfect.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't know that was in me. Oh, and the other thing that they did in Virginia, these establishment Democrats, is they put a cap on the price of insulin to, I think, $50 for some sort of unit. I didn't really read the article. So, you know what? The people don't want people to die of lack of health care, even if they don't support Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and it's disgusting for you to claim they are.
Yep.
That's really offensive.
Okay, hitting play.
Trump because we massively disenfranchised a huge portion of the populist left. Oh, that doesn't matter. We get to post, cute clips of Slay Queen Warren owning the angry white dudes with their sycophantic,
And there we go.
empty virtue signaling. And
there we go, virtue signaling. He's not even changing the words for the new left, the alt left.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the crux of his problem. They're saying mean things about the white men.
Yep.
And that makes his winky feel sad.
You can say that line. I can't.
No, you can say it. I'll give you permission.
Oh,
as a spokesperson for all cis men.
You're giving me a P pass?
Yeah, exactly. I'm giving you a D minus. The
D stick. It made his winky sad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm giving you the D conch shell.
Whoever holds a conch shell. All right, anyway. Yes, let's continue on because we are getting close to the really offensive comment here. I think this is part of what I clipped and put out on Twitter. Yeah. So people, listen up, unless you don't want to be offended, in which case maybe come back in a half an hour when we've gotten through this 3 minutes.
And absolutely no adherence to actual political ideology. These people are sociopaths. They absolutely genuinely are. They don't care about enacting progressive values.
He doesn't need to be trained in psychology.
No.
He knows they're all sociopaths, but please vote for me, please.
Yes.
Please.
Also, why aren't you supporting my candidate, you sociopath?
So you're
you
subhuman, lunatic, sociopath, Harry Potter lib.
Oh yeah, happy International Women's Day, everyone.
Yeah. Happy International Women's Day. We're listening to someone explain what a real feminist is.
Yes, that's our show for Women's Day.
For International Women's Day, absolutely.
This is a state of the left, the far left. I want to say the left, but the far left on YouTube. This is their celebration of women's autonomy and humanity as equals.
Yeah. Indeed, Kristi, indeed. I mean, I don't know, how have you celebrated International Women's Day? I mean, I didn't put my Women's Day tree up this year. When we celebrate, obviously, the arrival of the divine baby Jesusina onto the world. He died for our sins.
She.
The pronouns were he and she.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's fine. I was going to say, Jesus. For the D&D stream, we had to change the name to the name of your character, and then your name in brackets, and then pronouns.
Yep.
And I briefly considered putting attack helicopter.
Oh, I'm glad you considered it past.
Yeah, that joke would be so meta that it goes full circle and becomes offensive again.
Yep.
So I thought, no, I won't do that.
But you thought about it, but then the doorman of good taste and social consequences.
I do. Well, exactly. Yeah. I don't have a great filter, but big chunks like that definitely get caught. So.
The really obvious ones.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Sorry, I swallowed my Pringles wrong. Hitting play.
Making the country better. They don't care about pushing a progressive agenda. They don't care about any of the minority groups.
He's reading their minds now, just like Sargon.
Also,
he knows what they think.
You don't care about minority, but you're the one that literally just dismissed people because they're old and southern.
Yep.
You black people aren't the real black people, so fuck you. But I care about minorities.
Yeah. Bernie knows from diversity. He's the best.
He has the best diversity.
Mm-hmm. All right, hitting play.
That rely on the pushing of that progressive agenda, because any analysis of the political situation shows that Warren's decision to stay in the race has significantly decreased the possibility or the likelihood of a progressive agenda being implemented in the White House.
That's simply empirically not true. And maybe it's...
But she does so anyway, and this fan base supports it.
But Kristi, you fucking Harry Potter libs can prove anything with your statistics.
With our numbers. So I know I had...
Exactly. Using numbers is for sociopaths. Please.
All right.
You lunatic.
So in fairness, this was from the 3rd and 4th... Oh no, March 4th and 5th. I'm too European in reading my numbers now. And this was Warren supporters' second choice. Sanders 47, Biden 46.
Yeah, so it would make no difference. A wash.
Yeah. And I think the numbers he was using when I looked it up, he had data dated February 28th. He did a morning consult, and I wanted to check which. That was Vaush's source. I know I linked that in. And then this was the one I wanted to see where the day was, what day it was. Also on the 5th. So these would have been exit poll results, and this says 43% of Elizabeth Warren backed Bernie Sanders as her second choice versus 36% who said Biden. If those supporters switched their second choices, it would amount to a 5 and 4 point increase for Sanders and Biden respectively. So she wouldn't have changed the race. Yeah.
That wouldn't even, well, I mean, that might have made a difference in Maine.
Exactly.
And that's it.
But it's Maine. It's not that it's not going to make up for Texas, or it's not going to make up for Mississippi.
Maine is the American Samoa of America, which I know American Samoa is also that, but Maine is the American Samoa
of the continental U.S.
Yeah, exactly, of the mainland.
Yeah. So his maths are just off on that point. Warren, just in her defense, leaving would not have made it better, except maybe in one instance that we can think of.
Exactly, and not just that, but having seen that poll, I can understand why she's not endorsed anyone, because her voters are split, so leave it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to fucking endorse anyone.
Nope. Why would she's got those cards? She's got those delegates. They're with her now, so whatever she wants to do, she can maybe play. See what happens. Yeah, put her cards down where she thinks she's going to do best. Yeah,
maybe get a VP from one of them.
But he's not looking at her from her position, because for Vaush, she has to submit herself to the ideological goals of his movement.
Yeah.
It's not about what she wants as a political person and her political goals. It's about enacting Bernie's vision and her submitting and doing what's right for the cause.
Yeah. Basically.
So, all right, hitting play.
Because they don't care. They just want a woman in the White House. They just want pussy flaps against the Oval Office seat. Very important to them. Super important.
There you go. Classy guy. He is so vile.
Yeah. Yeah, he's awful. I mean, I've run out of what's the opposite of a superlative? Anyway, I've run out of them. He's just atrocious.
He is atrocious. This is just vile misogyny. And he is pretending, as Sargon does, to read the mind of the people in his opposition. And rather than dealing with real people who he's got there to deal with, he just turns them into straw men for his ideological sort of tilling at windmills.
Yeah. He's a Harry Potter prick.
So, yeah. Disgusting piece of shit misogynistic asshat. Exactly. And you know what? The ending is actually worse. If you can believe that. The ending is actually worse. All right, so now that we've kind of processed that disgusting misogyny, let's continue.
Wow, it's very important to them, these meaningless aesthetics over actual genuine policy.
Yeah, women's representation is just aesthetics. There's no substantive reason.
Very telling that Warren gets the wrath and not Bloomberg. Damn, almost as though Bloomberg is another centrist compromise candidate who takes a proportionally larger number of votes away from Biden than he does from Sanders. Warren's where's the second choice thing? Where's the second choice? Voters second.
This is the thing.
Choice.
If you're having to rely on other people splitting the vote, it means there's more people who don't want to vote for you.
Yeah.
Which means in a genuinely democratic two-horse race, you're going to lose. because there are more voters who don't want to vote for you. It's just you're relying on your opposition being split, which in politics you can't always do. You get lucky sometimes; it'll break for you, but a lot of the time it's going to be a 2-horse race. People know that's how it works. I mean, in Britain, like we've got the other parties, and in America, you've got like the Libertarians and the Greens and stuff. But basically, it's a 2-party system, right?
Yeah.
And in a race, it generally comes down to 2 people. Yeah. So if the other person, if the centrist bloc, so to speak, have got
more
51% or more, by and large, they're going to win.
Because Americans aren't as far to the left as Europeans are.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about this yesterday on the stream with Jamie J and all those awesome peeps. Which, by the way, go and subscribe to the Social Justice Alchemy people and all that jazz. They're awesome. I was speaking with Leto, who's French, and it's really, as a European, it's so strange to see people going on about Sanders being a communist and all this, because he's like a really basic social democrat.
Yeah,
in terms of his tax policy, yeah, in Europe, yeah. In terms of his tax policy, he would probably be, in some places, centre right. In terms of like the
Nordic
level
countries?
of tax. Yeah.
Okay.
In those kind of genuinely social democratic places. But either way, he'd be centre left at most, outside of maybe some far right shitholes like Hungary. No offence to the people of Hungary, but if you're going to elect Viktor Orban, I'm not going to speak kindly. Anyway, and by the way, feel free to reciprocate because we elected Boris Johnson. Fine. Yeah, so he's not. So it's really strange to see that, but that's the lie of the land.
Yeah, you work with the voters you have, not the voters you wish you had.
Well, yeah, as I can't remember who said it, but it's so true. In terms of anything, I think it was strictly speaking about public policy, but the same is true of any political sphere. That you have to start from the position of reality. If you can't accept the reality of the situation, you will never achieve anything.
Yep. Like, you can maybe get to $12.50 an hour in the next 5 years, but you can't get to $15 next year.
Yeah. Like, I'd love there to be I'd love there to be a $50 an hour minimum wage. That'd be awesome. It's not going to happen. So holding out that hope gets you nowhere.
Yeah. So this is where he's going to, I just skipped ahead because I knew what was coming, and he's talking about this layout. And I guess I'm going to have to open this up because, again, his numbers were from February, because it says on the page, this page was last updated February 28th. Bernie Sanders getting 49%, and then Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg together get 18%, and Klobuchar gets 12%. So those are the numbers he's looking at, but I still I would say empirically from what we saw afterwards, these numbers were inaccurate, and we should, his conclusions here blaming Warren are faulty.
Yeah, you're going to get outliers as well. Like, if you want to be dishonest, I'm not saying he even is, it could just be purely coincidental or whatever, but if you want to be dishonest with numbers, you can always find a poll that'll tell you something weird and unusual.
Because South Carolina had an effect on people. Yeah. And it probably had an effect on Warren supporters too. And there was probably a rallying effect to Biden from people who were at Klobuchar.
People like winners.
Yeah.
If you look like you're going to win, people want to be on the winning team.
And I can testify to that from my focus groups. A lot of times people who tend to lean for a party but aren't really excited about it, they'll just say, well, the conservatives are going to win here, so I'll put my vote with the Tories.
Yeah.
I'm not really thrilled about the Tories, but, they're going to win here anyway, and so I'll just go with the winning side. There is a bandwagoning effect, definitely. Okay, hitting play. I changed the sound, so hopefully it hasn't changed too much now that I've unmuted him.
Sanders. Bloomberg's second choice, 32% to Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. So as you can see, mathematically, I know women are really bad at math, so I wouldn't understand Warren supporters to get.
Hilarious.
More misogyny, more sexism. He's so progressive. I see why he and Schuonhead get along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Belittling all women. That's going to win you. That's going to close that gender gap for Bernie. Vaush.
Yeah, we were going to look at go back to the videos page thing again of him.
Oh,
him telling everyone what feminism really is. And then, was it 3 days later or something? There's a video called "Has #MeToo Gone Too Far?" featuring Blair White.
Because that's topical these days, and so is
King of the left.
Yep, so progressive.
And the fact that's what I mean. That's what makes me so depressed about the state of the left is the people support this garbage. People enjoy watching this utter fucking prick.
And now do you see why he's like the Sargon of the left?
Yeah, well, he is. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good analogy. I'd grown to really dislike the guy, but that's a fantastic description. He is the Sargon.
Someone in
yes.
the chat was taking slight umbrage with that, and I was like, "Oh, just wait, I'll show you. I'll show you."
I mean, he stopped short so far of saying he wouldn't even rape her, which is good.
Yeah, don't
But
cross
he's
that
not.
line.
He's not stopped that far short of that line that I'm comfortable.
The whole femoids thing is very disturbing. Later on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
Get it? As you can see mathematically, there is a reason why we are blaming Warren and not Bloomberg, because Bloomberg staying in the race decreases the chances of Biden.
You blaming Warren has nothing to do with mathematics.
No.
It has everything to do with your entitlement and your misogyny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, hitting play.
Winning. And hey, you know what? Bloomberg, who wants a centrist policy base in the White House, has said that they will reconsider their plans after their performance on Super Tuesday. Does anyone have that link? Bloomberg, who actually understands how
American Samoa
power works, recognizing that he increases the likelihood of a person who shares his ideology.
This is really driving Warren into Sanders' arms, this video.
Yeah.
Doing such a great job.
Not just that, but
that terrible campaign she runs and everyone hates her and she's shit.
Yeah. But he's gone on here about Mike Bloomberg, a completely unnecessary diversion here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the point he's making is also fucking ludicrous. He's saying, he's reconsidering because he wants the centrist to win. Pardon me. Because he wants the centrist to win. It could just be that he spent $500 million and been made to look a prick. So he's gone, you know what? I'm done. Fuck this noise. Do you know what I mean? That could be one of the reasons. Do you think that might be a slight motivating factor in his decision?
Yep. Just like Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg being out of money.
Yeah.
And having to compete in states like California and Texas where they didn't have a chance in hell.
Yeah, exactly. No, he doesn't want for money. We know that.
Yeah.
But he does want for actual fucking votes.
But Warren had an infrastructure.
And dignity.
Yeah. And as I pointed out, I think before we came on air, Bloomberg had an infrastructure set up. He still has an infrastructure set up across the country in key places. And he's going to focus. I personally think he should focus on Georgia and voter registration in the South. But what do I know?
What, the former Soviet Republic in the Caucasus?
Yeah, I want to see the new South rise. But, Warren also had a very extensive infrastructure and a lot of staff in coming up states and in those states as well. So she had a reason to wait for Super Tuesday for her own evaluation. Again, she was hoping to win her own state. You pointed out she was hoping to pick up some delegates here and there, and she did. Right? But she didn't get as many as she hoped for. And then when she realized she wasn't viable after Super Tuesday, which was her right, even Sanders was saying, I'm going to give her time. It's her decision. And Vaush is out here demonizing her for not bowing down and sacrificing herself on the temple of his ideology.
Yeah.
All right. And being a sexist, misogynist jerk in the process.
Entering the White House, if he drops out, is probably going to drop out.
I'm not following Bloomberg.
Damn. All the math adds up. You know, it almost kind of sort of looks like Warren supporters don't give a fuck about progressive policies and are just enacting their fucking trauma-ridden spite fuel out on like a loud dude.
Dude, look in a fucking mirror. Trauma-ridden spite. That's all you are.
Wow, this is, again, Sargon's law. He projects onto his enemies what he himself is actually guilty of.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, he hasn't named an already well-documented psychological phenomenon after himself yet.
Not yet, no.
But maybe he will at some point. I don't know. Maybe we'll call it the, I don't know, fucking pussy lips phenomena or something. I don't know.
Oh, please no. I don't want to hear that phrase again in my life. All right. Well, not coming out of his mouth anyway. All right, hitting play.
Being inflicted with all of this horse shit on social media. Well, I'm really glad you guys can appreciate a Sanders rally, but not every woman is comfortable being around men that loud and domineering. Oh yeah, Bernie Sanders, definitely the type to abuse his wife. These
what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, can we all agree that Sanders mostly shouts a lot?
He does shout a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't actually want to be shouted at all the time. That's why I didn't, you know, it's initially, well, also Chris Matthews was just garbage sometimes. Sometimes, you know, he's like your uncle that says stuff. And you're like, you can't say that shit. What do you, like, come on to the 21st century. Let me explain to you why that's wrong. And it just, anyway, but he would just shout all the time. And I just had to turn it off eventually. And maybe this is part of that gender gap. Is that, you know, women don't always, it is fine to shout sometimes, but anger isn't necessarily, like, men seem to respond to anger more positively than women do.
Not even anger, just a kind of aggression.
Yeah, and not all women and not all men, but I'm just saying we see
men,
a 10-point
generally,
difference.
Yeah, men will generally see aggression more as a positive in terms of it being assertion and passion.
Yeah.
Whereas women, for understandable reasons, will see it as a potential threat and put them on a kind of
alert,
unpleasant footing.
Alarm.
Yeah, the spidey senses start tingling.
Yeah, and when you get
and you think, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this. Which, when it comes to voting, ultimately is what matters. People will obviously go for the candidates whose policies they really prefer. But ultimately, even if you really like someone's policies, if you think they're a prick, you're way less likely to vote for them. If they make you feel uncomfortable, you're way less likely to vote for them.
Yeah, you're demotivated. And also, I think it's really important because we talk about policies and preferences, but there's, you know, what we've learned from political psychology is that people emote and then they rationalize. They have a gut sense, and sometimes that can be changed through discourse. Like you might have a phobia of a group, and then you talk to people and you get to know them, and it changes your perspective and you change your views.
Yeah,
right?
Pigeons.
But things like, you know, I think most people emotionally start from a certain place when it comes to issues like the death penalty or the Black Lives Matter movement. They have a position located in a lot of other things that they have emotions about. And then we rationalize that out through policy prescriptions and debating it. So this idea that sort of ideology and not emotion is what should rule here is precisely the kind of critique that feminist scholars brought to empiricism. You know, a lot of qualitative research directly comes from feminist critique of this sort of rarefication of the rational at the expense of the emotional, associating the emotional with the feminine, and then kind of degrading it. And I see a lot of that in Vaush. He degrades the feminine and sort of things associated with women.
Absolutely, and I think that what sums that up is, hang on, what's the name of the person? Q Ball, but spelled Q-U-E-U-E, so Q Ball. I think that Bernie is literally stuck in the 1960s leftist mentality, which included a ton of bigotry. Now, I don't think necessarily that's true of Bernie, but certainly Vaush and a lot of the kind of Bernie bros or burners or whatever you want to call them, that's certainly true. Because I know a lot of old school trade unionist types, like really old school fuckers, they're right on when it comes to economics. They've got that down to a T. They know all their shit. They support good policies by and large. But then they'll also say, few too many blacks in this town, aren't there? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Few too many Romanians. What about them queers?
Your typical Leave voter in that age cohort.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there are also a lot of conservatives in that, but in terms of, they are essentially entirely economic / class reductionists, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it is important to realize that especially if you grow up in a homogenous community, an all-white community, and you get class consciousness, and suddenly you realize you're being exploited by your employer in terms of your labor and what its value is relative to what the benefit they get from it, and then go home to your wife and expect her to clean the house for nothing. You know, like, it doesn't transfer to other forms of oppression just because you have class consciousness. And I see a lot of that.
That's absolutely true, yeah.
Yeah, and so in that way, I think, you know, Bernie sees the class dynamics and the class warfare and the class aspects of it. And I think he sees the other ones. I know he tries to express that he cares about them, but he doesn't care about them as much as he cares about the class consciousness. And that really comes through. Because, and with Vaush as well. I mean, I think part of the contempt here is that, you know, he lives in a sort of bubble of right-thinking people who agree with him and reinforce him, who tend to skew toward men, who skew white, who skew younger. And then it's easy to dismiss people who aren't in your group who criticize you, which are people of color and women and older people, and make them the enemy. And it's frustrating. Because there should be better than this if they're on the left and if you're advocating for the good of society, why are you such a shithead? to
Yeah.
women you disagree with.
Because they're subhumans.
Because they're subhuman sociopaths who are only voting for a person because of their genitalia, and they are.
Shut up! You're a Voldemort liberal.
Yes, and we don't actually have a commitment to progressive policies because we don't want to enact them in the same method he does.
I'm more of a Hufflepuff liberal.
You don't even know what that means.
I don't know, but those are
But it was
those
good.
are things I know about Harry Potter.
No, it is appropriate. I think you used it correctly in a sentence, so you got away with it. It's just because I know.
Did I?
You.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Everyone else is like, "Oh, shut up, Kev, you fucking."
All right, I'm gonna hit play because we're only 9 minutes in, and we've got 4 left.
These people are projecting
these people.
their trauma onto Sanders because all they care
here we
about
go.
is
You fucking armchair psychology bullshit. Fuck off, man! You absolute hack.
Yeah, or maybe you could acknowledge that not only just women. I want to say, I'm sure that there are people across the spectrum who don't want to just be shouted at and makes them feel uncomfortable, or maybe they are actually genuinely traumatized, and instead of mocking it and telling them they should toughen up, you should think, maybe our candidate could deliver his speeches in a way that is more inclusive.
Yeah.
No, just toughen up. Look, the principles are more important than your feelings, is the theme that always comes across here.
The veneer of aesthetic feminism, not real feminism, mind you, because a real feminist would tell Warren to drop out so that Bernie becomes the president rather than Biden, because Bernie has a much better record on feminist issues than Biden does.
Just to say that Biden was key in the passing the first time of the Violence Against Women Act, which has directly led to a decrease in domestic violence in the United States. So that's empirically true. I just want to put that out there to that allegation that Biden hasn't done anything. Not that I'm standing for Biden here. I'm just doing counterpoints because I'm disproving Vaush. All right.
Yeah. Oh, you're such a muggle liberal.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the feminist expert.
Well, exactly. Yeah, he's the feminism's understander.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what a real feminist would do.
Yep.
All the time. Yeah.
He is the right kind of feminist because
a feminist would definitely go on about pussy flaps on the White House seats.
Yeah, and people and women and men who support a woman being subhuman sociopaths, and also girls not being able to do math. Girls are too dumb for math.
Calling people honey. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good talk. Good talk.
That is what a real feminist would do. So it's not real feminism, it's just this incredibly thin, tenuous, superficial grasp on the aesthetics of feminism, which to them means unconditional, unrelenting, thoughtless support for whoever the woman is, no matter what actually leads to the most or the least harm for women or other marginalized groups.
The most of the least harm? Okay.
I mean, it's awkward, but I get his point. And
I know. Yeah,
it's so...
I'm just mocking him in general.
Yeah.
He's such. Again, it is very Sargonian. He needs his opponent to be the straw man.
Yeah,
that's why
completely devoid of any morality.
Carl finds it so difficult dealing with me and you because we're not going to be the straw man for him.
Yeah.
So he finds it very difficult to land his preordained lines, and Vaush is very similar to that. He couldn't just be that some Elizabeth Warren fans support Bernie, some support Biden.
Yeah,
probably there are lots of them that don't think either are particularly brilliant, but are going to make a choice one way or the other.
He could have done a whole stream on, look, it's absolutely inevitable that Elizabeth Warren is going to get out, and we need to figure out how we as a movement embrace her followers and supporters and staff people and bring them into our movement so Biden doesn't get them.
Well, exactly, yeah. That's the thing. He's assuming that even if we abuse these people, they're naturally going to come over to us, which is ridiculous. Bernie, to his credit, has done the right thing and said, look, I'm going to give her some time. It's all cool. I've known Elizabeth for a long time. We're friends, blah, blah, blah. Good, sensible policy.
Yeah. This
cretin, this absolute fucking anal wart of a human being, has decided to go out and call these very people he's going to absolutely need, subhuman and lunatics and sociopaths and Harry Potter liberals, whatever the fuck that even means. Why do you want the votes of Harry Potter liberals, Vaush?
Yeah, because they're terrible people who only care about the aesthetics and don't care if people die or whatever else horrible things that you accuse them of. Why don't you just tell them all to go vote for Biden? If
Yeah,
they're
why
so
would you want the
terrible?
votes? Why would you want the votes of subhumans? It's very strange. It's almost as if you're full of shit.
All right, hitting play. Or do we want to have a little palate cleanser and watch the flip the switch?
Yeah, we can do that if you want.
We need, because he's been trashing on Warren and her supporters, and like I said, I didn't have to vote, so it wasn't an issue for me. But I get where Warren people are very disappointed and hurt and everything else right now, and that's fine. They need their 5 stages of grief, but and we're not standing for Warren. But,
I know there was some beef between them during the campaign, so I get that some people are not cool with that, and I mean, we talked about it at the time. It doesn't really matter anymore, but yeah, I get that some are a bit pissed off with it, but Vaush is not helping.
No.
When you come out and say that there's people are subhuman,
I'm going to do a supercut of that. I am.
Even if,
expect that on Twitter.
Absolutely fair enough. I might retweet it. I don't know.
Yeah, tag in some people from the Warren side to see what they think about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you want to go with the "it's just a meme, bro" thing, which doesn't work. People don't like being called subhuman, even as a joke.
Which this clearly was not.
Exactly, yeah. But even if you're just joshing them, people are like, "That's a bit much, isn't it?" Like, call me a dickhead or an idiot or something as a joke, whatever. But calling someone subhuman, that's some Nazi shit.
Yeah, it is.
Well, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that kind of rhetoric.
So yeah, Elizabeth Warren went on SNL.
Yeah.
With obviously with Kate McKinnon, as you can see her in the background. And they do look alike. I mean, I know that she's been dressed to specifically look exactly like her, but she pulls it off nicely.
She really does. By the way,
that could be a daughter. That definitely could.
I think I saw someone in a reply either to this or a retweet of it, of someone who was furious that Elizabeth Warren, instead of being in Michigan voting, campaigning for Sanders, was faffing about on SNL.
Motherfucker, she's just had a really horrible time of it.
Yep.
She just came third in her own state. She wants to chill the fuck out or just do something fun.
Doesn't owe you.
Yeah, like exactly the entitlement. Why isn't she working like a slave for Bernie Sanders? Well, I mean, she could just be doing a thing. She wants to spend the weekend in New York doing a cool thing, having a drink, getting major amounts of cock. Definitely.
After this went viral, definitely.
Exactly. She's not even have to pay for it now.
All right, so
she doesn't have to pay for a stranger anymore.
She won't have to go on a website to find him. No.
Exactly. She's getting
all up in her DMs.
Lime green dildo in such amounts that it can only be measured in miles per hour.
She's got a spare room. She just stacks them up.
Yeah,
Amazon has a drone that just flies to her house once a day.
She makes it rain lime green dildos.
So she went on SNL and just did a thing with a human being, and they did this little viral video clip that went viral because it's absolutely hilarious. And we wanted
to. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Look.
And Elizabeth is just stone cold.
I don't know nobody else is doing this.
She's just rocking it. That's brilliant.
That's cute.
It is.
At worst, even if you think, oh, it's silly, whatever, it's fine, right? But then, I mean, AOC came on and was really cool. And she said, oh, that's really awesome, or whatever the phrase was she used. And people were like, no, AOC. That's heresy.
How can you say something nice about a woman?
Yeah, and you just think they're having a little dance. Who gives a fuck? Why are you angry about any of that? And even if you think it's like a waste of time, it's not your time being wasted.
And just
why do you give a fuck?
Just the optics of it, right? Because the Warren people are going to see that, and then they're going to look through the comments, and they're making up their minds right now. You idiots! They're thinking,
people want to be relatable. Yeah.
Yes.
People like relatable people. And so you're doing a funny little skit. I mean, that's cool.
I'm just going to point out how cute Kate McKinnon, I think that's her last name, correct, looks in the Warren part, because Warren just stays stone cold. She starts to smile a little bit at the end. She breaks, but Kate just can't. Her face just goes all over the place.
Pause it on the moment where she's small. And there's a little shake of the head, and she's like, I mean, she's done me. She's fucking done me here. Like, I'm the comedian, and I'm not the funny element of this.
No.
I don't know nobody else is doing this.
That's one.
Yeah, look. That's
she's just looking at her go. So that's
bitch has outdone me, motherfucker.
So yeah, let Liz have her. Let her go back to the Senate. She does a
Yeah.
great job in the Senate.
Yeah, it's just a nice moment. Why do people have to fucking
Get
shit on
angry
it?
about stuff all
No,
the
it's
time.
who cares? Why do you give a fuck? What negative impact does that have on you in any way?
Can I
or
state-
anyone?
I say this on Twitter, I feel like too many times per week. Politics is about building coalitions, not driving people away. You can't. If you drive people into silence, it doesn't mean you've driven them into submission.
Yeah. And these are the kinds of people, these fucking hardcore Bernie people, who go on about gatekeeping and fucking purity spiral and blah, blah. But yeah, you've just torn into AOC, who's been one of the best progressive advocates of the last couple of years, let's say, on the national stage. And Elizabeth Warren, who's been doing that for years, in a number of
capacities,
ways. Yeah. And you've just torn into them for, one, doing a little video dancing, and two, saying, oh, that's cool. And you've ripped into them for that. Talk about fucking purity spiraling. Jesus Christ. You can't even put a silly little video up dancing or saying, I like that video of you doing a silly dance without people ripping on you.
It is ridiculous.
Fuck off. These people want to lecture people about cancel culture. Get fucked.
Good point. All right. We still have like 4 or 3 minutes left.
Woke scolds.
I really do hate these people. I think they're sociopaths. I think that it's all spite for them. This reminds me of like Destiny. Like I say, Destiny engagement.
He's literally just said, I hate these people.
Yes.
And then said, it's all about spite for them.
Yeah, Sargon's Law. Projection.
Curious.
Yep. This is why it took me like 8 hours to finish this video.
Yeah.
Because it's just ridiculous. All right.
Which is quicker than we're getting through it now.
Yeah, because I'm mentally prepared this time.
Politics, like, look at these people. Everything every response they have, every retort is well, maybe you shouldn't have had your shitty Bernie bros be mean to me on my birthday when I said my birthday wish was for Warren to become president. And then they came into my DMs and said I'm mean. Like, okay, that's it. That's their whole idea.
No, not they came into your DMs and said you were mean. They said you were a sociopath and a lunatic.
Yeah.
And whatever
Subhuman.
the fuck a Harry Potter liberal is, and a subhuman, and that they hate them. Yeah, people might get a little bit like, well, I don't like that. Even if you don't think people being shouted at is something that is worthwhile, surely you must concede, Vaush, that being called a subhuman and a lunatic and a sociopath, people get that gets their back up a little bit. People don't like that. I know you don't care, but you must accept that that is the reality, surely.
Because it is, because he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he's got 2,000 likes for it.
Yeah, which is, depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Depressing.
Theological fucking position there. That's the basis of everything they believe.
Yeah, everything they believe.
Yeah, he can sum it up because he's a feminist explainer.
Warren stays in. She takes as many delegates and vote percentages away from Bernie, mostly Bernie.
Imagine having the fucking the ignorant buffoonery to dare to say everything this large group of disparate people believe is based on Bernie bros were mean to me.
Yep.
No, they supported many of the things they have decades before you were born, in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking gutter snipe piece of garbage. How fucking dare you? Like, there are people who support things that I don't like, but I'm not going to say it's all based on this one little thing, this one irrelevant little thing.
Yeah,
because I don't need to straw man people.
Yeah, their arguments are shit enough that we can break them down, like we're doing to you.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, exactly. Moo bitch.
All right.
Does Vaush have a cow? I don't know.
I don't know. I might have to go Vaush's cow.
Everyone should have a cow.
Fetch it,
I like Vermin Supreme's thing about everyone in America would get a donkey when he becomes president. No, there's no need for it, but why not?
That seems unnecessary. Where would they stay?
It seems communal donkey farm in every town.
Oh, okay. I don't want to keep him in my garage.
Exactly, yeah. You'd get a specialist donkey sanctuary in your area.
So it's really more like a donkey in your name than a donkey for every.
Well, no, if you want to keep him in the house, that's cool. Just sit there, watch some movies and shit. Do you want to watch some Netflix, Donkey? Cool. What do you want to watch?
Shrek.
Yeah, that's racist against donkeys.
No,
they're not one-trick ponies. Hey. Yeah. Now you'll say no. I didn't like Eddie Murphy's portrayal of donkeys. I thought
he was a bit of an ass.
Hey, lovely. Okay.
All right, is that palate cleanser? Are you ready to get back to this garbage?
Yes.
Okay, hitting play.
And yeah, just fuck these people. None of them care about progressivism. None of them are feminists. I'm serious. Not a single person here is a good feminist.
Well, they're not going to vote for you then. Are they? They're not going to vote for you. So if they're not that, why are you expecting them to vote for you?
Yeah.
And why are you expecting the person they support to endorse and work for your candidate?
The shit candidate who did the same compromise on the timetable of M4A that Bernie ended up having to do at the end, and whatever else he said about her. That was
So Warren's not progressive. Her supporters are not progressive, but you're expecting them to vote for the other progressive.
Makes sense if you're Vaush.
Yeah, cool. Not cultural, cognitive dissonance for the
quite
win. Yes. Or cultural dissonance. Don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Could be a thing.
Could be an academic thing. Who knows? Yeah. All right, hitting play.
Less than all these people, even with the crass jokes that I made in this very short segment.
Yeah, he's a better feminist. We kind of missed that. We talked over it. He's a better feminist than all of these people.
Yeah, because those were jokes. When you were insulting women as not being able to do math or calling them subhuman. And not just like women, all Warren supporters that you've conflated with women.
He was joking about the pussy lips on the seat. He was joking, Kristi. That's fine.
Yeah, jokes. I'll make sure that makes it into the
That was a joke. That was a joke. It was all
It's
fine.
a joke, sis. It's just a joke, sis.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's the... Sort of
no. Sis is a slur.
Oh, right. I was thinking of, bra, the whole...
Yeah, no, I know I was purposely misunderstanding you.
And
then,
for the cis,
then appropriating some transphobia for my own comedic ends.
There you go. Well, that's how we do on this show.
Exactly.
I set you up.
I will burn any motherfucker. A transphobe, Vaush. A racist, Vaush. Just a general all-round prick, Vaush.
Yeah.
Or others.
And in a lot of ways,
there are other racist, sexist pricks apply as well.
You were saying at the beginning about the fact that we watched an older clip, but you're right. There's the same energy.
Yeah, it's just like he literally starts off the video that he put up on his own channel with Warren supporters are subhuman.
Yeah.
So no, he hasn't learned. He hasn't changed. He isn't now some cool woke dude or whatever. He's just the same piece of trash he always was.
Yep. All right, hitting play.
Because I actually care about what it takes to put a progressive agenda in the office.
That's what makes him a feminist. Being willing to do whatever to get what it takes to get his stuff done. I think that's his logic.
Yeah, I'm a good feminist that I'm happy to essentially push all the marginalised people out of the way so I get my economic transformation and that's it.
Yeah.
And then if you blacks and you woms and you gays or whatever, if you want to do your thing, that's cool, but don't fuck with the economics. That
comes first.
Yeah.
Because I'm right. I know what's right.
We do our revolution first, and then if you want to do some shit, fine. I'll support you, honest.
But
what do you mean? What do you mean? Why my fingers crossed? Shut up.
It's just this presumption of him having this moral high ground that makes him untouchable. Everything else has to come, bow down to it, and he is the spokesperson as to who
doesn't need to listen to black people, Kristi, especially the southern old ones.
Right.
Who have actually experienced some fucking horrific shit.
Yeah.
If you're old, black, and southern, you experienced some Jim Crow shit.
He saw polling where Bernie Sanders was doing well with younger black voters and Latino voters, and that made him the highest polling with diverse groups. So,
but we even
not a problem.
Numbers. He's drawing amongst the under 30s in black vote, which
well,
means he's got
South
no
Carolina.
fucking chance. Oh, in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the data.
Well, there are some black people there.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's had distributions. Like out west, he probably has a different distribution than he does in the South when it comes to
California.
Yeah. And there's some variation there. Okay, we're almost 2 minutes left or so.
Even if it would mean swallowing my pride and not voting for somebody who has the same genitalia as me.
So women are being prideful. It's not because they or supporters of Warren are being prideful. It's not because they legitimately support her policies.
Well, not just that, but Vaush, the one occasion you've ever had to vote for someone whose genitalia were different to you, you didn't.
Did he not vote for Clinton?
No. I believe he said he didn't vote at all, if I recall correctly. If
All
I'm
right.
wrong there, by all means, please.
Chat will check and check us. So
yeah, so it's again, it's the same thing with why do black people need all of the representation? Well, yeah, obviously you don't feel you need representation because everything's already representing you.
Yep.
Every major lead in a movie, other than very, very recently, you've had things like Black Panther or whatever. But other than that, every motherfucker, every president, virtually every senator, virtually every congressperson have all been white dudes. But for the first time in history, some other people other than just the white dudes are getting a tiny sliver of a say. Yep. And these motherfuckers are up in arms. And
you know, the thing is that when black voters spoke with such a unified voice, I listened. Because that's where the party is. They are the heart of the party. Yeah. And so if you don't listen, you're fighting the party. You're fighting against the popular will of the party.
Well, not just, even beyond just the party or whatever. If we claim to give a fuck about what black people want and what they think, and they vote a way we don't like, which again is the case with them voting for Biden, I don't think they should, but I have to listen to them and say, well, why is that? Well, why do you feel that way? And take that on board. Otherwise, you're just being a condescending prick and saying, black people, just get the fuck in line.
Yeah.
We've established that what's best for you is Bernie Sanders, so just fucking vote for him. Otherwise, might have to be a bit racist towards you.
There was literally a Twitter
southern old blacks.
Yeah, there was a tweet that basically said, "Oh, education in the South is so bad that black people don't understand that Bernie's the best for him. So we just have to make sure, we should maybe mobilize people and get them not to vote, and then Bernie will get in and they'll be better off."
Oh, who said that?
That was on a Reddit. I can fish out the tweet. It was a little while ago, but there was a whole bunch of really terrible things after South Carolina that people were posting on Reddit and also on Twitter.
Real cancer. Yep. I mean, that is fucking what prick says something like that?
Probably a young white progressive in a white state.
We stand with black people unless they vote for someone else that we don't like, in which case they're all fucking stupid and we should encourage them not to vote.
Yeah. And look,
shoot, mate.
I guess I can say it now because it's not going to be a big surprise because there's only 2 candidates left, and I've already declared I wouldn't vote for one of them. But when it came to getting behind, I'm not promoting Biden. I'm not out there being yay Joe. But what swung it for me especially was it wasn't the Clyburn endorsement. It wasn't Buttigieg and Klobuchar dropping out or even Beto showing up. It was the way that he turned out suburban women and especially black voters. And okay, this is giving, they're standing behind him. They're saying, this is our pick. And I'm okay, well, you've made my choice for me. This is who I'm standing with.
You are Wisconsin's honorary black. You are the African American vote in Wisconsin.
No, don't even say that. No. I'm just saying that when it came to,
because presumably the people who play for the Packers actually vote in their own home state, none of which is Wisconsin. So you are the African representative in
north of
Wisconsin.
north of sort of Adams County, probably. Yeah, because Milwaukee is quite diverse actually. And
I think Minnesota can War Corps count as an African American?
No, absolutely not.
In Minnesota.
All right, we're gonna start hitting play here. We're gonna just move this conversation immediately to a different troublesome conversation. All right,
Montana. Are there any blacks in Montana?
Hitting play.
Yang just tweeted that Warren deserves to be doing better in the polls. Yeah, Yang also recently talked about how Sanders stands for rage and revolution, and Biden stands for compassion and earnest politics. Yang is a total fucking grifter, dude. The moment he was no longer in the race, he goes right back to being like a moderate little fucking shit.
I mean, I'll say I like Yang. He came close to being okay, but he's always he'd take you to the edge and then not get you there. Yeah, exactly. Just keep you blue balled. Oh, because his end, his solution to it was always we need more capitalism, which is not my solution at all.
Yeah.
but since he's gone, he's with CNN now, doing commentary and stuff, and he's done okay. I've liked him so far. I don't keep track of his Twitter. Maybe saying shit on Twitter that is bad, but
You walked away with a positive impression when he left the race.
yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he's a centrist. There's no doubt about that. But that's fine in its own way. I mean, clearly, a lot of people in general are. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you noticed how he hasn't looked at the numbers
No.
of people who voted?
Nope.
He's looked at one breakdown of second choice voting, which was
Slightly out of date.
confirmation bias, basically.
Yeah. Actually, I think the one he was using was dated January 28th. If you look at the video in that spot, I did.
Oh well, that's
by the way.
farcical then. Yeah,
but
that's farcical if it's January.
yeah,
Fucking
if
hell.
you go to the way he does the search in this part around here, I did blow it up and looked at it because I was trying to get the stuff, and the article looked to be the 28th of January. So just so you know,
Well,
people want to go
ridiculous.
back. I'm not going to.
That's over a month
Yeah.
old, which is meaningless then.
So then it said at the bottom it was updated the 28th, but he linked to the one from, or the February something, but he linked to the January date. So,
yeah.
All right. Anyway, are we ready to hit play?
Well, Bloomberg was only just joined the race then, so it's like it's irrelevant not anyway. But the point being, he hasn't looked at. Well, let's look at the map.
Exit polls.
Let's look at which fucking states who won what.
He looked
and then maybe
bit.
Take the advice of the person at the very start and introspect a little.
Yeah. At some point, he does pull up a map when he accuses Warren of like taking some votes away from him at some point. Oh, that was the Real Clear Politics one. But no, he didn't really go to any of the exit polling. He wasn't looking at the feed of news journalists. Like I had Steve Kornacki and Polling Politics and all these people in my feed, with updates.
At Steve Kornacki.
Steve Kornacki, yes. So hitting play, right? Okay.
He really played the populist grift pretty well, I would say.
Almost to the end.
Yeah, I don't exactly have like the numbers out here, but yeah. Warren may cost Bernie from winning Massachusetts, Maine, and Minnesota. I would have to go over this and independently verify because I don't know like how the vote would split or anything. But here, Massachusetts, yeah, Warren's vote would have made the difference, obviously. Here in Maine,
again,
Warren's
you're
vote
assuming
100%.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, if you add up Sanders and Warren's, yeah, then he'd win.
But if it goes 4-6, if Sanders gets 5 and Biden gets 4, then no.
No, yeah, then he doesn't win Massachusetts.
So,
and not just that, but you've got to bear in mind now, with Bloomberg, Pete, and Klobuchar out, most of those will go to Biden. He wins even more comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
In future states of a similar makeup,
yeah,
which there are a lot.
Because they might not have, places where they
white
haven't.
and cold.
Oh, by the way, in Michigan, they're letting people change their votes.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's part of the state law. You're allowed to. And so far, 24,000 people have changed their votes, which they presume the majority are Klobuchar and Buttigieg voters and Bloomberg voters.
Well, did you see, I think it's Washington State or something, the Bernie fans are now saying they want a caucus in Washington State.
Yeah, instead of a primary.
Considering they're fucking bitching about Iowa, which, look, in terms of the results and all of that, Iowa was a shithole. But, they were all like, no, caucuses are the worst thing ever. But now it's like, oh, yeah, we want a caucus because it suits us.
But wait, Bernie was the one, he had his people on making the rules, and they did the primary. So he was the only one at the table for that. And yeah. Okay. Changing the rules to suit the outcome, not playing by the rules regardless of the outcome kind of thing. Hitting play.
Vote would have absolutely made the difference. Minnesota, possibly. It might.
Again, if Bernie Sanders went up to 36, Joe Biden would go up to 40.
Where's that's Minnesota? Where's Warcorp's vote? Where's that?
Tulsi Gabbard, right here.
Yeah. There she is. Yeah.
Might or might not have made a difference. I'm not sure.
She didn't even get 1%.
That would have put Bernie Sanders in the lead.
She didn't even get half of 1%.
Nope.
1,000. That's in a big ass state. She got 1,041 votes.
That's with 26% reporting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Where's that? I can't see.
Oh, it's at the very bottom.
It's hidden behind a play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Apologies.
It's paused, though, but I'm sure that stayed on trend, to be honest.
Probably.
Okay.
So she ended up with like 4,000 votes.
Probably, yeah.
That's so shit.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
going to get a Biden presidency. It seems statistically likely at this point, and it is going to be in large part because of Warren's spite and Warren's followers' spite. They do not care about progressivism, and they do not.
You can't talk about what fucking Warren supporters and Warren and her spite when you literally open this bit up with "they are subhuman."
Yep.
Because that's coming from a place of spite rather than of medical truth.
Yeah.
So shut up. Just shut the fuck up, you ignorant prick.
He's vile. Yeah. Yep. And as I said, it kind of escalates. You know, he definitely hits the high point at the end, going out with a real misogyny and sexism.
Care about America. So yeah, fuck them. Just legitimately, like fuck them. I really do. They're like Warren.
Yeah, fuck them and their spite.
Now vote for my candidate.
They're the spiteful ones.
Yeah, they're the spiteful ones. They did a 13-minute video on you.
Fuck them. They're subhuman and their spite is terrible. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, again, I have to harken back to it, the very start. That piece of advice they gave you was so on point for you.
Yeah.
Introspection would help you so much.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Bigly. It would bigly help you, sir.
All right. Last 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes. It's the best 30 seconds.
People. They're not real people. They're fake. They're matrix bots that are put in your way to
They're not
test
real
you, okay?
people.
Yeah. Again, with the subhuman thing.
They're not real people.
Did you remember this part? Did you watch all the way to the end?
I did. I watched all the way to the end, but I must have, I don't know. I must have been thinking this guy's a prick. But they're not real people. That's amazing.
It gets more ridiculous. Do you remember the end?
It
is.
I was pretty drunk.
Loopy. It's loopy. All right. So they're already not real people. They're matrix bots. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? And the test that they are trying to bring out of you is whether or not you will murder someone out of a fit of blind rage for saying the dumb shit that Warren supporters say. And you should pass that test by not murdering them, because then you'll be put in jail. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get all the Bernie bros in jail. It's a nefarious plot. Okay, nefarious. All right, stay woke, friends. Don't fall for the femoids, the femoids plot.
You believe that crap?
What an absolute fucking what a distended anus.
Yeah, I think that's the best description I can think of.
He is. He's a human prolapse.
So, yeah, Vaush is the Sargon of the left. He's vile, he's misogynistic. He's not learned anything about not dehumanizing people he disagrees with, and he's actually burning bridges as he goes.
Yeah, he's... I just want to say to his stands, any motherfucker who wants to claim, oh, that was ages ago, can go fuck themselves.
Yep, March 4th.
Yeah. This week.
So same energy.
This fucking week.
You could just swap these out, and you could just whatever. Other than the timeliness of the topic, he's doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we broke that crap down because it needed to.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need a shower.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's just a good piece of advice again.
Especially with coronavirus.
Good. We are pro shower here on the show.
And hand washing. You nasty ass people.
And not so much pro bath, because you're kind of swimming in your own ass water at that point. Like your own ball sweat and cock cheese are in that water.
Maybe for you.
Well, okay. Well, you piss flap water. What do you want?
What do you think? Okay, we're not having this conversation.
Well, the point being is you've got gooch sweat in the bath water with you on your face. Shower.
So I take it you don't like to relax in a hot bath for an hour then, Kev?
I used to, and then someone pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Oh God, yeah."
Well, just
you've
don't
got ass water around your face. well, how are you washing your face then?
Well, you wash your face afterwards.
You do a separate wash of your face.
Yes, of course.
That's weird. You're weird.
In the shower, I'll wash my face, but if I'm bathing, I don't wash my face. I'll wash my face with proper soap for your face so I can put on the lotion for my face.
You put soap on your face?
A certain face soap, yeah.
I put water.
Well, how do you get off the grease?
Water on my face.
And the dirt and the oil.
I don't. My skin is baby soft and perfect. Unblemished.
All right. Well, there you go. Au naturel skincare advice from the
No, I just put shower gel in my fucking hair and it drips down. That's enough. That's how it
really
works.
drawing. All right.
It's
Well-
not dry. My skin is fucking delicious. What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Well, you can see what like 40 years of moisturizing has done for me. So, that's all I'm going to say. Well, not quite.
Well, yeah, but
I started when I
I
was like 12. So, 16.
Okay.
No, sorry. 36. I
I
can't
have-
do math at this time of the night.
I haven't moisturized ever.
Probably inadvertently you have.
A bird shat on my hair.
You probably have
Does
once
that
put
count?
like shampoo with conditioner on your hair and put that on your face.
Probably.
That might count
Probably.
as moisturizer.
A bird shit on my hair once. Does that count?
I don't think so. But really, how old were you? Were you like a kid out
About
playing?
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bird shat and it was in my hair. I was like, oh, and it smelt so bad. And it was like a 2-mile walk home. Oh.
Did you use leaves and stuff
Yeah.
to get it out?
Yeah, I got like a clump of cloves, like, you know, the
Yeah.
weeds that grow near nettles and stuff. And I kind of scraped off what I could, but the smell, because it was a sunny day as well, and the smell.
It was
Oh.
baking on your head as you walked up.
Yeah, I essentially had a kind of fried egg of bird shit on my fucking scalp. And then I had to walk around and go in the shower. Actually,
Nice.
was I still bathing in a bath then? I hope not.
Dunk your
'Cause
head in
although-
it and then float in it for a while.
Yeah, just got bird shit soup around me.
You know, it says something that the idea of a bath of bird shit soup is actually better than what we were doing with Vaush's video for the last hour.
Yeah. If Vaush, if you would stop, I would happily take a bird shit soup bath, because that would be less unpleasant than your content.
Yes, talking about that is more pleasant and funny and enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And
Well,
I'm less likely to catch diseases.
much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think
we
that's
basically
gonna be
done?
it. Yeah. It's a school night for me, so I should get to bed. But this was, I mean, I can't say I enjoyed this. How should I describe this? This was important.
This was a thing.
This was, yeah, I think it was, I mean, this might have flown under the radar and not got commented, and I am glad that we've shone a bit of a light on it, because it is just absolutely gross. And I am totally going to make a supercuts of this, of all the worst parts of it, and circulate it, because Warren voters are trying to make up their minds right now. I'm
And
sure
keep
this
it
will help.
and keep it for receipt purposes.
Oh yeah, that as well, just
Some
to
people
add
are like,
to the list.
No, that was from like 2017. It was ages ago.
Oh, you know what I'll do? Because he, of course, you know, the whole June shoe on head thing was on his stream. So maybe what I'll do is I will tag it to the bottom of that pinned tweet. So you can see him being a complete asshole, misogynistic, sexist, just disgusting pig.
Well,
is that what you'd say?
misogynist birds of a feather
Exactly. Flock.
flap together.
Flap their lips together.
Yeah.
Both figuratively and in a more crude way. All right. Well, yeah, I guess on that bombshell, that flappy bombshell.
Yeah. Oh, you've got $1 for no reason.
Oh, thank you, Eva. That's
Well, when I say for
unnecessary.
no reason, I mean like there's no message.
And Rory Cat says, "I'm so glad we had this time together." Just so you know.
Well,
But
Rory
thank
is
you,
literally
Eva.
sat right
Thank
next
you
to
so
me
much.
in reality, and he's not typing anything on any device, so I see through your ruse,
Yes, and also
whoever you are.
how far back is that? Is it already gone? Oh, the other one from the last nerve. Thank you as well to Maddie for the contribution. Out of spite, out of reverse psychology, because I'm such a grifter. I was called a grifter on Twitter, and it became a whole joke. Like people are like, "How is she a grifter?"
Yeah.
Like I actually said, I'm not taking money on Patreon anymore. I mean, people, if they want to give money, that's fine. I'm not going to shut it down because I actually support you and I support some other people. So I just repurpose it to other creators. Or like in the donation, I just gave, $100. That was basically like my Patreon profits for a while. So, just moving it around now. I'm more of an administrator than a creator raising money. Anyway, this is boring.
When you say redistributing, I'm imagining like one of those old war rooms, and you've got those long sticks pushing like troops around. You've got money.
No, more think of it like
$2 over there,
like a pneumatic tube system, like in Kafka.
That's why. Well, 2 shows in a row, Kafka gets a cheeky little mention. Good stuff. Good stuff, young Franz.
Yes. All right. So that was your point. You were just gonna mention that.
No, I was going to say, oh yeah, you mentioned about Grifty. It passed me by, but when he said that what's his name? Yang was a grifter.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, well, he's a billionaire. He doesn't need to do anything for money.
Good point. Yeah, he doesn't need the money. How is he grifting?
He's getting like the money that CNN are paying him to be there. He could lose that down the back of the sofa every day, and he wouldn't bother him. He wouldn't notice it.
Yeah,
it's the chump change
to him.
Yeah.
So
to anyone else, it's probably big money. It's tens of thousands of dollars or whatever. But he doesn't need to do any of that for money.
No, he's fine.
So so he's not a grifter. You can say he's a sellout, or whatever if you want. Yeah, but he's not doing it for the money. Clearly,
okay.
No, he wants to give you $1,000. That's his only policy.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the only one I know about. I never really paid him much attention. But any other things that we want to fact check Vaush on before we turn off?
I think people who support Elizabeth Warren are actually human.
I do too. Yeah, I want to. I want to go in the whole. I'm not here to defend Elizabeth Warren or her supporters, like in terms of their policies or anything, but I'm here to defend them in terms of their humanity.
Yeah, they are actually real people.
Yes, and they don't deserve to be talked about like this.
Or have you ever seen them in the same room together?
Sometimes,
maybe
but
there's
only
one of them running around really quickly, and it looks like loads of people.
Yeah, could just be photoshopped. Everything. All right.
Are we sure Elizabeth Warren's real?
Well, I think the guy she called from the escort service was.
Well, he's trustworthy.
Quite, he's 100% trustworthy.
I definitely believe him, especially the bit where he laughed at Lime Grindle. Legit.
Oh, those were fun times. Oh, we won't have
fun times.
Yes. But now Elizabeth, we can kind of say goodbye to the whole. It's a way to sort of honor Elizabeth, I guess, and all the laughs we've had. Not at her expense, definitely. We totally respect her ability to
laughing with her because she ripped into him too. It was just like, what's it going about? Whatever her university was, who were called the Cougars.
Yes.
So she did a whole bit on that and
being a cougar,
pointing out they've got like a scholarship program for girls or something. I was like, oh, that's a really awesome and progressive thing to do.
Yeah. And also,
rather than going, well, I could sue this guy for obviously lying about me.
Yeah.
She went, no, fuck it, I'm going to have a laugh and push a link out to some people of a positive thing at the university, my alma mater.
Good for her.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So goodbye, Elizabeth.
Awesome. Rather than just going, Jacob Wall's pathetic, sad, loser, later fucking sleepy Jacob or whatever, do something positive. Mm-hmm. That's how you handle a troll.
Agreed.
Anyway,
I have to go shit in a box. I want to get there before Kevin. I hate waiting in line.
Oh, thank fuck. I realised you were reading because I saw the cursor moving. For a second, I thought you were saying that. And I was like...
That's awesome.
What?
Yeah.
Like, for a second, I thought you were saying I need to go for a shit, which I was like, that's a bit more crude than she usually is. And then in a box... I was like, what the fuck?
That's from Roy Katz, by the way, for the people on the podcast.
She's lost the fucking plot. What the fuck's happened here?
Okay, now my eyes are watering. I'm officially done with
she's on some fucking mad shit tonight.
So Roy Katz in the chats, thanks for that.
Yeah, Rory Katz
doesn't want to wait in a line behind you for the box.
Or whoever the person is who's pretending to be my awesome cat.
All right. So that was the end of the show. We were supposed to end 5 minutes ago, and then we just went down this.
Yeah, who cares?
Goodbye from me. Goodbye from Kevin. Thanks to the people in the chat for watching all the way to the end, and people in the future for watching all the way into the 2. I've been Kristi. Everyone's been awesome. Goodbye.
No, they haven't.
I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm just going to get there. I'm going to just plow through with confidence. Goodbye from me, and goodbye from Kevin. Say meow, meow, Kevin.
Meow, meow, Kevin.
Ooh, you did the bit.
I did the bit.